Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, good morning, and it's Friday, and we're going to 82 degrees today. It's Friday, and we're going to 82 degrees. It's just shockingly beautiful. I'm all about it, and tomorrow will be mid-70s, and then for Sunday. But who cares? You never know. Saturday may linger into Sunday. Friday might linger into Saturday, and Saturday might linger into Sunday. But for now, you have a couple of decent days on the way. Good morning, Jeff Manaski.
Good morning. And not to get spiritual, they say nothing is promised to us and every day is a gift. So enjoy Friday and Saturday.
That's a good point.
Who cares about what it's going to be on Sunday?
You're right. You might not get to Sunday. That's what you're saying.
But fingers crossed we'll get there.
Yeah.
And Monday, unfortunately, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll be right back here.
I
know. Let's see. We have comedian Dabrowski in studio here this morning. Funny guy. Funny. There are 2 weeks left at Fat Cats Comedy Club, and this weekend we'll have that comedian in. Next weekend, Gemini will be the final one of the spring
what is Gemini?
season.
That sounds
Gemini
like a sign, not a name.
Lombardi is his name. He'll do everything from magic to he's an incredible ventriloquist.
Oh, yeah?
And a hilarious comedian.
All right, awesome.
If you recall the old Fat Cats Comedy Club 20 years ago, Gemini performed 2 or 3 times up here. Even did a show for kids. So you may be an adult today, and I may have remembered coming in on a Saturday morning and watching him at a comedy club, watching him do a show for kids. It was really cool. Davey. Oops, I've got the wrong one. How about this, Davey? Good morning.
Good morning, Bill.
What do you want to say?
Nothing.
Oh. Thought you were kind of looking at me with that mojo face.
No mojo.
He's tired.
Okay.
He's exhausted.
Yeah. Yankees, you're tired. The Mets play on the West Coast. This is terrible.
Well, I went to participate in the wheelchair basketball game.
You did, and I did not make it last night.
I know.
Oh, I was going to ask how your arms felt.
Unfortunately, a Pacific person kept on asking me, "Where's Bill? Where's Bill?"
Yeah. Yeah, that was Stefan.
Yeah, but I was kind enough to get him.
I thought it was Rondinelli.
Yeah.
I had an extra ticket. I was kindly enough to get him in.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, Smitty had an extra ticket, and Stefan. Well, I'm telling your story, but I guess I'll continue.
Stefan
called
have
him.
Ticket.
Yeah, so Davey said, "You know what? I actually have an extra ticket right here. Meet me at the game, and I'll get you in."
I was hoping that instead of going to the wheelchair basketball, I was hoping that Stefan would have covered Manaski's first game as umpire.
I asked Jeff.
It went that badly. I'm sure it was pretty good.
I asked Jeff about it when he came in. He didn't really want to get into it.
What happened?
Well, okay. So
first of all, is it a junior high game?
It was a modified game.
Modified,
yes.
Which
so
is basically
I get you junior high. Yes.
Junior high.
And I thought, look, here's what matters. I thought the kids had a good time. Everybody had a good time. It's difficult. It's a tough thing to do. To be honest with you, I hadn't called balls and strikes before. You do a little bit in the gym during the class.
Yeah.
It's different. I will say this, and I almost wish Sal, who our crew chief here, had witnessed the game, because I would like some critical, some criticism, some constructive criticism is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I guess the only thing I'll say is, the game went. For the guy who was on the radio complaining, I can't believe these Major League Baseball games go 3 hours or more. We went 3 hours last night, but it was a good back and forth game. It was Stockbridge Valley and Madison. Look, summer ball. For one team, it was the first game. For the other team, it was the second game. And for both umpires, it was their first game. The guy who did the game with Tim Abone, I thought he did a great job. It's an experience. It's a learning experience. I had a good time. Ultimately, they say that's what the most important thing is.
Did you have to kick anybody out? Is the big
Oh,
question.
not at all.
No,
Not at all.
There'll be none of that.
You know, there's something also that I had kind of mentally skipped that Sal and the other umpires would mention during the class. When you're doing modified games, you have to remember these. You know, it's usually 7th, 8th, and 9th. I'm not saying every single kid is just coming up from Little League, but this is the first year they play on the big field.
Well, but even some of the kids who are in 8th grade still got a chance to play Little League.
Yeah, so
because they're young enough.
You know,
I'm pretty sure that's the case, right?
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Yeah,
but if you're in Babe Ruth, though, you play on the big field. I'm
Yeah.
not exactly sure what grade or age limit is Little League at right now, but it's it's. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I'll tell you this. Something I didn't forget because I didn't want to be late. You know, I've been late once or twice in my life. So I left the house early. I wanted to make sure I was there like 55 minutes before the game started, which they tell you I think approximately roughly 25 minutes.
Manansky was calling ahead at the game to the coach of the home team saying, "Play bang on the drum."
So Tim, the guy I did the game with, he was there. Actually, he was there about 10 minutes before me.
So you did. So the way you do it is you switch up and what or you did behind the plate.
No, I was behind the whole game. Yeah, if you do a
Okay.
doubleheader, you'll switch. But so 14-12 was the final. Stockbridge Valley won. They came back at the end of the game. They scored
14-12.
14-12 was the
Wow.
final. Yeah, it was. I thought it was a good back and forth game.
Yeah, if only Stockbridge would have kicked the extra point, we'd have been fine.
One thing I can say for sure that I did not expect was so we get out of there. And again, they'll tell you at that level, you got to widen the strike zone. You got to do a few things to move the game along. Otherwise, you're going to be playing
there all night.
3-hour games. Yeah. So I tried to do my best, but I couldn't find it in me to punch a kid out. That's a strikeout for those who don't know baseball. I couldn't find it in me to punch a kid out on a pitch that's, at least for the third strike, I got to get him a strike there.
Right.
So I got home a few minutes after 8. And, man, I'd taken the gear off.
Soreness.
And, first of all, thank God for mountain ice. Thank God for mountain ice. Not only was I sore, but I was exhausted. I literally, hit the couch, and I didn't want to know anybody. We actually had plans to go to dinner after that, and I'm like, really? Do we have to do this now? I can literally go to sleep right now. But it was cool. I have a game on Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mike asked, were there any complaints that you might have modified the strike zone in a modified game?
No, there was.
Right.
I mean, was
Good
there
question.
any complaints? I didn't hear anything from a dugout, from a coach, from a parent.
Yeah.
And again, the game got tight at the end, and the fans were like, they're making some noise there. They were really into it. It was great. Did I get a couple looks occasionally from a batter who looked back and was like, it was a little outside, but they don't say anything. They're not going to argue with you or something.
Well,
but,
at that age,
no,
they shouldn't be.
There was no controversy. Tim, the guy I did the game with, he had a couple of bang plays. From my perspective, I thought he got them right. Nobody complained. I had a couple on a pass balls, bang plays with runners trying to come across the plate.
Yeah.
I think I had 2 of them safe and 1 of them out, and I don't even think there was anything to dispute there.
Okay.
They were obvious calls, I thought.
Davey.
I was just going to ask if he had to punch anybody out at the home plate.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Oh, did you?
Nice.
And I enjoyed it. I'll tell you one thing again. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but again, having done it for the first time, and I did the practicing in front of the mirror thing, right? That I laughed at.
Yeah.
But you have to do
gotta
it.
do
That's
it.
how you get your reps.
Yeah.
So I did that, but then out on the field, I was kind of instinctually occasionally doing it almost, for those listening on the radio, it almost looks like you're about to flex your arm muscle.
Or ask a trucker to honk his horn.
Right. Something like exactly. So there's one variation of the strike call. And then the other one is like when you point over. So I had a little bit of flopping back and forth.
Yeah, sure.
Just habitually what's comfortable. I got to find that. I got to straighten that up before my next game. But.
Well, it sounds like it was pretty cool. That's awesome.
You know what? It was great to be outside in the warm weather. The young men are running around playing baseball. They had a good time. Obviously, one team
What
wins,
color
one-
do you guys wear these days?
So there's many colors. We wore there's more colors than you would think.
Yeah.
We wore navy blue.
Okay.
My understanding is that navy blue is on the New York State level is being phased out. They're going to go to more of a
interesting.
black
Of a
color.
black, yeah.
So navy blue is available, but again, you got to match with your
Pretty sure
partner.
New York Penn League used to be navy blue.
Yeah, navy blue. You got black. You got red. You got
Yeah.
the baby blue, the powder blue.
They have red too, right?
There's a red one.
Right.
I like the powder blue. That's cool.
Yeah.
But that might be being phased out because they're going to go primarily black, at least to my memory from the class.
Yeah. Okay.
But we met when we got there. Of course, the umpire who was doing the softball game was there, and we talked to him. He was a nice guy. He's been doing it for a few years. And we were just, shooting the breeze on a few things. And he goes, what? I have a pink set. And I was like, no kidding. He goes, oh, yeah, the girls love it. You show up in the pink. They love it. And he goes, but the only thing is, and this is obvious, your partner's got to have that set, too.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
So you coordinate that in advance.
One thing is for sure, if you know baseball at that level, you take a look at, like we always talk about Daylight Donuts, where all politics are talked about in the corner booth at Daylight Donuts. All baseball is talked about at the trunk, the open trunk of the umpire who drove.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
It's kind of wild. So that's where they really are like, can you believe that kid did that or whatever?
And so,
Or the guy walks by and like, you suck. Yeah.
And for those, I'll just mention this because somebody had commented previously about, well, the game takes a long, how long the game takes. Somebody said this to me out there, and I go, look, I understand that. It's just these kids might have homework to do. The coach might have kids he's got to get home. These parents want to get home and feed their kid or multiple kids. One team's got to travel back to their school. So,
yeah. I
said to the guy who did the game, and I go, well, hopefully that's the longest one we do all year. Hopefully the first one we do is the longest one we do. Typically, you're probably looking at, an hour 45 to 2 hours. But at least it was a good game, and I don't think I ruined anybody's baseball career yet. So, not gone for Mike.
I think it's really cool. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
One.
Looking forward to it. And I encourage other people to do it. It's not all about parents arguing with you in the stands. There's a lot of fun that goes on, and I need someone to officiate.
This morning on the program, there's an update in the Rome Sentinel today, and the story that we've been covering here involving Bruce Karam, the Utica School District. We'll get into that. Willie Waffle, and we'll talk about the movies for the weekend and streaming for the weekend. We'll get into that. Comedian Kevin Dombrowski is in studio. Ilion Mayor John Stevens is on this morning. We're going to talk about, this is unbelievable. The village of Ilion is going to have their power turned off tomorrow for 10 hours. That will include everybody, restaurants, everything. So you imagine, unless you have a generator, your business is going to be closed. I mean, it's something.
And if you don't have a generator, even privately, your food is going to be ruined, right? There's a possibility of that? The stuff in your fridge?
Anything could happen. You got to be prepared for this.
It's not going to it's going to be 45 degrees. It's going to be 80 tomorrow,
Austin basis. It's going to be 82 tomorrow, yeah. Today. And then 75 tomorrow. Austin Basis is an actor who's been in many movies, including the latest series, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And he'll be on this morning later on. I invented a new game. When I drive in the morning, sometimes I'm either thinking about what are we going to do on the show? How am I going to do this? What are we going to do here, there, and everywhere? Or I got to tell you, the increase in New York State of vanity license plates has created a whole new game. As I sit there and try to get close enough to figure out what does that license plate say. And some people are very creative. I'd like to say hello. I think I've figured it out. Jeff Myas. Jeff, Geof. It's a Chevy pickup truck. Geofmyas. I believe the guy, it must be his own name on the back. Jeff Myas. Geofmyas. Jeff Myas. He has a
That's not what that says.
Chevy pickup truck.
Well, kudos to him for being creative.
Yeah.
That's not what that says,
good
Bill.
morning
It
to
says, get off my something.
Huh?
That's what he meant by that. Get
I don't
off my...
I don't think so. I believe, Jeff, I'd just like to say hello to you this morning.
You sure
Chevy
that wasn't a
pickup
bumper
truck?
sticker, not a license plate?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's weird. Ryan Schmelz is with us right now from Fox News. Ryan, good morning.
I want to play along with that license plate game, but I think I might get in trouble, so I should probably keep my mouth shut.
It's a fun game. It's a fun game when you're driving by yourself. You don't know what to do. It's like, oh, let me get up there and figure out what this license plate is.
Yeah, we do this. We do this guessing game. We call it Keel of Fortune.
Yes,
That's our game in the
it's a
morning.
lot of fun.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. The House of Representatives is all over. Boy, we are fixated. The new issue in the world today is drag queens and transgender.
Not that we're on the brink of like the biggest world war of all time.
I do feel like it's a bit of a distraction, but the House of Representatives are now voting, and this is something worthy of a discussion, I think.
Yeah.
And that is
Culturally,
transgender
yeah.
in sports and athletics. So what is the House in the midst of doing here right now?
Right. So yesterday the House passed the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, and this was a vote along party lines. You had 219 to 203 with no Democrats voting for it, and pretty much it would amend Title IX to prohibit those who are given or who are male at birth from participating in women's sports if they're trans. So certainly this is something that has gotten a lot of attention, and it's been active in a lot of different states. You have about 20 states passing similar legislation for K through 12 as well as college, but this one is likely not to pass with the Senate still run by Democrats and with President Biden saying he's going to veto this.
Yeah, it's going nowhere. However, and I kind of wonder, do you know that, in high school, I wrestled. And when you were in junior high, and Jeff was just mentioning modified sports, you wouldn't be able to, this is very interesting. I feel like this applies. You wouldn't be able to, you could only wrestle varsity if you had reached puberty. And without getting into all of that, you literally had to be checked by a doctor. So there was this one athletic director that liked to do all the checking, but that was weird. Don't want to get into that story. But you had to be checked by a doctor, and if you were physically qualified, you would be allowed to go up onto the varsity team. And this is a big deal because, with 91, 98-pound wrestlers, you'd get somebody in 7th or 8th grade that would be like an awesome wrestler, and you'd want him up on the varsity team. So I wonder if there's an answer somewhere down the road where there's a physical examination, because there are transgender people who you would look at birth and be like, something's going on here.
And I think what I can say to answer that is that one of the things that Democrats argued earlier this week, like Ted Luke from California, he said he called this a creepy bill because one of the things that it allows is for, gender, or I should say, genital inspection. And in some cases, I believe it requires genital inspection from coaches to make sure that, to pretty much make sure that everyone's playing the sport that they're supposed to be playing. So that was one of the arguments that Democrats were kind of making throughout the week against this bill. So I hope that answers your question, maybe.
Yeah, that. I think the coach shouldn't be doing the checking. It probably should be done by a doctor. Somebody, the person who does physicals, athletic right,
trainer,
right, or a nurse, right, your school nurse.
So I think there's two levels of things here. One, if there is a transgender female who's competing against other women and still has the factory installation package, right? That would seem a little odd, one, and I don't know if that's part of the qualification.
Yeah, I feel like this is such a difficult issue.
But the second thing is, I think what you're saying is maybe like a testosterone level, like you test a person's T level.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how you'd test it, to be honest. Ryan?
Well, I think one thing that's interesting, McCarthy kind of pointed out yesterday that, is there are certain sports where your level of competition is decided by weight class.
Correct,
like wrestling,
right.
UFC still does that today. You wrestle people who are in your similar weight. So a sport like that might be a little bit different. But what was the first part? Go back there again.
What was that? I didn't catch that.
The first part of that question.
Well,
I think I got lost in it. Personally,
the factory installation set.
Right,
I just think it's
when you're talking
about
the equipment.
The equipment, right? And
Yeah,
then when they still
and I
have,
think that's what, I think that's what this bill is kind of trying to address, is because you have trans women who are competing in a woman's sport. They still have a significant amount of testosterone in their body, and so they still have that advantage that a biological male would have if they were competing against women. So you certainly, I think they're addressing a lot of the differences that come with men and women's sports. Like McCarthy also pointed out at his press conference post this bill, passage, where he kind of said, well, if you look at men's and women's volleyball, the net's, 2 inches higher in men's sports compared to women.
Right.
So there are those differences that people don't really address.
The golf, where you tee off in golf. And,
basketball, we have a smaller ball.
So,
yeah.
And it is, and the other part of this that's interesting is, while I say, maybe you look at the physicality of the individual, and would they qualify for a female sport versus a male sport? But beyond that could be something that, well, take a look at, for instance, how many, I don't want to say gay and transgender are the same thing. I understand they're not, but just as for a purpose of example, how many people identify as gay in the NFL? And these could be really huge guys. The number, actually, there are, I don't want to say several, but certainly a handful of people who identify as gay in the NFL. So if your physicality is you're as huge as an NFL player, maybe you shouldn't be playing on a girls' team.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting, this bill does not even address, trans men.
Right.
This really only applies to women's sports. It's not really one that talks about, because a lot of the sports I played growing up, women were allowed to try out for the football team, or they were allowed to try out for the men's basketball team if they so choose to. So a lot of those rules were already in place, and they pretty much still are. You've seen women go and play on the PGA Tour, or try to play on the PGA Tour, and try out for different tournaments like that. So, I think certainly a lot of that would still be the same if this was enacted. But, the chance of this bill passing is still extremely slim at this point.
Yeah. And the other part of this that's interesting, Ryan, is a good example is back to wrestling, where if you're a really, and there are some, I think there was at least someone who competed at the state level. Somebody had sent me something recently where a girl won a state championship somewhere in wrestling. If you're a really good wrestler and you're a female, you don't want there to be a female team that you would be required to play on. A lot of times in New York, what they'll do is, if there isn't a female team, the female can try out for the men's team. So if you're a phenomenal wrestler and you want to compete at the boys level, and all of a sudden they have a female team, this all gets so confusing. And imagine what athletic directors and schools and administrators have to deal with.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the wrestling I've covered, most of the teams are co-ed because there just aren't that many women who are doing wrestling as a sport. And one thing that has been pointed out a lot, and I think a lot of the Democrats pointed this out, is that it really is a small amount of people who are actually competing as a trans person or in sports. And they kind of cited how Utah's Republican governor actually vetoed his state's version of this, and they kind of found out that there was only one trans athlete in the entire state.
Yeah.
So, it certainly is still, while this is a very talked about, and justifiably so, an important issue for a lot of people on both sides, the amount of population, especially trans youth who are playing sports and identify as trans, it's still a very small portion of the population.
I really do not understand why we're not letting this be decided at the local level. But maybe,
One thing that's interesting is that to kind of counter that argument, I think that's been posed to a lot of Republicans, hey, you want abortion to be a states' rights issue. Why is this not? Well, a lot of these this only applies to schools that receive federal funding.
Okay.
Now, there's a lot of schools that receive federal funding, so that's almost every school district in the country. So that kind of gets brought into this.
Okay, interesting. Well, what a topic. Ryan Schmelz, as always, we appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend.
Hey, y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan Schmelz from Fox News. Can we take one quick break and come right back? Willie Waffle will go over the best stuff to stream this weekend and the best, if you're thinking about getting out to a movie theater, the best movie to see. Willie Waffle coming right up at WIBX.
From Lincoln Center Theater that brought you The King and I and South Pacific comes a sumptuous new revival of the most perfect musical of all time, My Fair Lady. The New York Times calls it thrilling, glorious, and better than it ever was. Don't miss the smashing, jubilant Lincoln Center Theater production of My Fair Lady.
Broadway Utica presents My Fair Lady, May 1st and 2nd at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, visit BroadwayUtica.org or call 315-724-4000.
Power Sports of Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there. It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at HNHMedicalNY.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's Friday morning. We have not even gotten into the story that the Rome Sentinel has covered. And by the way, Rome Sentinel, acting like a real newspaper. A credible newspaper that digs into issues that are in the news and does follow-up interviews, credits those sources in the story. Here to the Rome Sentinel today.
Yes, I'll second that.
Because some newspapers out there have OD'd on, well, you know where I'm going.
You couldn't be positive. You couldn't
I'm
just be
saying,
positive.
There's a reason why. I don't know. Is it 80% of the employees that were over at the OD are now working at the Rome Sentinel? I don't know what the number is, but it's it's a lot of them. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Willie Waffle. Good morning.
Well, good morning, and I would be remiss if I didn't start celebrating the freedom of Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I saw that come out yesterday. They are dropping the manslaughter charge, right?
Yeah, so the prosecutors down there in New Mexico said they're dropping the charges. And they were kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, they were a little weenie about this, okay? So, they said we're dropping the charges because there's still a lot of investigation and forensic examination that's going on, and we couldn't meet the court date, in May. But we could bring the charges back if we find something. So basically they're admitting they don't have anything that really meets the standard of manslaughter here.
I think
for now he's free.
We talked about this. I just feel like the guy's doing his job. And I know there are going to be people that are going to say yes, but he has to. No matter what, you have to know how to handle a gun. But you're living in a community, if you will, that your work community, where things are expected of you and things are done. There's certain practices. And practicing how you're going to shoot somebody or hold the gun is something that an actor would do, and you would not expect it to have a bullet in it.
It is not his responsibility to check the safety of the gun. That falls to a position called the armorer. Yeah. You will notice the armorer did not have her charges dropped against her.
I think that's interesting. I think Baldwin,
I agree,
as the producer or director, whatever other role he held here,
he may be financially responsible.
Liable, absolutely. But I thought this was when I heard he was charged with manslaughter initially, we were like, what?
Yeah.
So, and what, now they've resumed filming? I've heard a lot of talk about the movie Rust other than his situation with the charges.
Are they going to continue with this movie? Or
They are going to continue. They need to finish it because, frankly, they need the money. I mean, I hate to say it that way. I mean, you would think at some point they would just say, we've had enough tragedy on this set that this thing should just go away. But the people who have invested in the film want to get a return on that investment, so they're moving forward and trying to finish it. I don't know what kind of audience it will have when it comes out. I mean, there'll be some people who want to see it for morbid reasons.
Right.
There might be, Alec Baldwin's family wants to see it to support Alec, and that's a lot of tickets right there.
Sure.
But I don't know who else is going to be just really interested.
Yeah, I completely agree. All right, interesting. And I got to say, very sad. I don't know how I'm going to get my DVDs now.
This is, as soon as I heard this story, my first reaction was, they still do that? Yes. Netflix announced today not today, but a couple days ago, they're done. They're finished. They're out of the business. Starting on September 29th, they will no longer ship out DVDs. That's right.
Yeah,
They've still been doing this for about 2 million or less customers over the past few years, and they've just decided the red envelopes have had their day, and they are going to shut down that part of the business this fall.
Do we know how many? Are there 2 million people who still receive DVDs?
Well, that was the last time they gave out a number of subscribers was 2019. And in 2019, they said it was 2.1 million people were still subscribers to the DVD service.
Okay.
I imagine it's gone down precipitously, over the past three to 4 years.
I will keep in mind, though, I will say, if you go to a yard sale, there are people who still will buy VHS.
Yeah.
Okay, that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is, I wonder if it's...
That's because Jeff does.
I do not. But I wonder if it's 2.1 million users or actual subscribers. I could see, like, libraries and learning institutions still using a service like this, but not, parents with
everything,
kids and
streaming
everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but, the only thing that came to mind, I was talking about this with a friend last night, and he said, I actually used the subscription service a couple years ago because there was a movie I really, really wanted to see, and it wasn't available on streaming, but they had the DVD. So I had them send me the DVD, and I thought, actually, that's true. I mean, we always think about how everything is available on streaming. Not really.
Right. Very interesting. Okay. I find that your go-to, if you can't find it on streaming, your go-to is YouTube. You'd be very surprised at what streams on YouTube. It's interesting. Okay, a couple of other quickies before we go to what's going on this weekend. I cannot believe Chuck Lorre. Is it Lorre?
Yeah, Chuck Lorre.
Lorre and Charlie Sheen have reunited. These two. Charlie Sheen said some awful things about him back when he was doing, remember his shark blood and all that stuff?
Oh my God! It was. I mean, still for my money, one of the most amazing stories ever. The meltdown of Charlie Sheen back in 2011 when he got fired from 2.5 Men for just unprofessional behavior, crazy statements. Yeah, talking about tiger blood and just
tiger
talking
blood,
about Chuck Lorre in the most defaming terms. I mean, they had a massive falling out. It was worse than the worst divorce you've ever seen. And Chuck Lorre has a new show coming to Max, the new HBO Max streamer, soon, and it's called How to Be a Bookie. And it's about a guy who's struggling to keep his bookie business alive now that gambling is legal and you can do it on your phone. And Charlie Sheen is going to be making a series of recurring appearances on the show, which is amazing because Chuck Lorre essentially said, in the season or in the finale of 2.5 Men, he wanted to kill off Charlie Sheen because he was just so angry at him. That's why he had the piano drop on him. If anybody watched the final episode of 2.5 Men, So that they've made it up just shows if there's money to be made, everybody can find peace.
That's exactly, and this is all on Chuck Lorre because he's the one that holds the golden ticket, if you will. And I just feel like, would we be talking about this HBO Max program had he not announced that there's a reuniting of he and Charlie Sheen? Probably not.
No, probably not. I mean, that's the amazing thing. Chuck Lorre has put out some of the most popular comedies of all time. I mean, Young Sheldon, Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men. And he doesn't have the fanfare that I think other producers have. And so, it's not like when he announces a show, everybody gets all excited, but regular people watch it. It's Hollywood reporters that don't get excited.
Yeah. And then hearing New York Post is reporting that Kevin Costner and Taylor Sheridan, who is the producer, creator of Yellowstone, don't get along. And this could mean the end of that unbelievably popular series.
Yeah, so, we are in a holding pattern right now. Season 5 has been broken up into 2 parts. Part 1 already aired, and there's been a lot of fighting between Costner and Sheridan, reportedly, because Costner is making another movie and just isn't available to film Part 2. But the part the thing that's making it more difficult is Costner has allegedly given him dates. He said, I can film on these dates. The problem is, the scripts aren't written. The story's not written. And we're approaching a writer's strike possibly in a couple of weeks.
I can't believe that, too. Yeah.
Part 2 of Season 5, they haven't even shot it, reportedly. So how are they even going to get it on the air this year? It's really kind of a weird thing. And this may have caused such a rift between Sheridan and Costner that the show's done, and Sheridan is now going to put in all of his efforts in a spinoff with Matthew McConaughey.
Wow. We only have 2 minutes, and I got a lot to squeeze in here. But if you recall, the writer's strike that happened 25 years ago is what led us to reality television where we are today. I wonder what...
reality television took off during that strike.
Yep.
And, I think that, I don't know, maybe it'll be TikTok getting bigger or streaming getting bigger.
Who knows?
Without the writers.
In theaters this weekend, what do you think? The Covenant.
Yep. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, probably the most dramatic, serious movie out there. Jake Gyllenhaal, this U.S. soldier in Afghanistan, working with a local interpreter, and when everything goes down and they start pulling out the U.S. troops, the promise to bring the interpreter to America on a visa is broken. And now Jake Gyllenhaal wants to do everything he can to try to help this guy, including going back to Afghanistan and finding him and his family. It's a 3-waffle movie. It's a really good, strong, dramatic film. Great acting, great development of both characters.
I'd like to see this one. And boy, talk about pretty close to home. This is think about the pullout of Afghanistan. Evil Dead Rise in theaters. Mommy has become possessed.
Yes, and surprisingly not a bad movie. I got worried because I saw the director, this Lee Cronin, talking about how he wanted blood to be a character in the movie, and they used 1,700 gallons of it. And I thought, this is just going to be a gore fest. But it's actually kind of interesting as this family is facing a lot of difficulties, a lot of troubles. The mother becomes possessed by a demon, and now they got bigger troubles than ever. I'm going 3 waffles on this one too.
All right, 15 seconds. Mrs. Davis, the Peacock series, good or not good?
Absolutely fabulous. One of the wildest, craziest, most inventive things you're ever going to see. I'm at the 4 waffles on Mrs. Davis.
And Ghosted?
What?
Ghosted?
Yep.
4 waffles.
Ghosted, such a disappointment for Ghosted.
Okay,
I love Ana de Armas, but this movie is not very good.
Watch Mrs. Davis. Willie, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
All right, WIBX Utica, Rome.
Chris Foster, Fox News. President Biden and his team are reportedly looking to officially announce his re-election campaign this coming Tuesday, April 25th, exactly 4 years since he announced he was running in 2020. He's got work to do getting Democrats fired up for another term.
According to a new survey from the University of New Hampshire, half of likely Democratic voters in that critical early voting state do not want to see the president seek another term. Just a quarter said that President Biden is their top candidate. Those are tough numbers right now.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. President Biden today is signing an executive order on what the White House calls environmental justice, directing all federal agencies to incorporate that into their missions.
They're going to be told to work to help prevent the impact of pollution on people's health, and the White House will be getting a new Office of Environmental Justice. But the president's also expected to blast the GOP, saying extreme MAGA Republicans are fighting to make it easier for oil and gas companies to pollute. Some Republicans say the president's hurting consumers by kneecapping energy production. In Washington, Jill Nato, Fox News.
The Russian military admits accidentally bombing a city on its side of the Ukraine border. 2 women are reported injured. Russian state media reports the explosion took down power lines, damaged cars, and left a crater 65 feet across. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's meeting with allies at Ramstein Air Base in Germany, the 11th meeting of what's called the Ukraine Defense Contact Group.
They'll talk about the crisis and work on coordinating support for Ukraine. Kyiv's persuaded its backers to send more increasingly offensive weaponry in recent months. Fighter jets, tanks, and this week the Patriot air defense system, all adding to Ukraine's arsenal. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Supreme Court's expected to announce by tonight whether to maintain federal approval of a commonly used abortion pill. A lower court ruled access should be restricted while an appeal moves forward. The FDA approved mifepristone 23 years ago. America's listening to Fox News.
Inflation is nothing more than a legal form of theft, because with every new round of money printing, the value of your 401k or IRA is decreased through the dilution of the money supply. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and while you still can, I highly recommend you consider physical gold for your retirement account. Why? Because gold provides real wealth preservation that can withstand anything. Even better, with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group, you pay no penalties or taxes when you transfer your current retirement funds. To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898. And my friends from Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold IRA company I trust, so text PROTECT to 989898 to request your free info kit on gold IRAs right now.
Some morning sunshine, a few clouds around as well. We have 51 degrees. WIVX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Well, still no deal on the state budget. State lawmakers, once again, though, taking action to make sure the government keeps running and that thousands of state workers are still getting paid. They passed another budget extender yesterday that will last through this coming Monday. Negotiations on a final budget have been ongoing for weeks, with Governor Kathy Hochul and state leaders still not finalizing some key parts of the budget. No word on when a deal might get done. The original spending plan was due back on April 1st. In Herkimer County, in Ilion, in the Herkimer County village of Ilion, I should say, they will be without power for several hours tomorrow. We'll get further details on this coming up here in a few minutes as we talk with Ilion Mayor John Stevens. But National Grid will be conducting maintenance work on a supply line to a substation in the village. The outage is expected to last from 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. People are being urged to prepare by ensuring they have enough supplies available to last during the outage time. If there are weather issues tomorrow, the maintenance work would be moved to Sunday. The largest stage at the New York State Fairgrounds officially has a new name. Why? Because people were confused. What had been known as Chevy Park will now be called Suburban Park. The stage debuted back in 2018, and since then, major artists have performed on it in front of crowds of tens of thousands. Officials say the reason for the change is because fairgoers confused Chevy Park with Chevy Court. This year's fair runs from August 23rd through September 4th.
So there used to be in Syracuse a place called Suburban Park. And I think that's why they came up with the name.
Well, now I've confused it with the fairgrounds.
Now you're going to be all confused. It's like, is that Suburban Park over on Burnett Street or whatever, wherever it was?
Right.
Or is that at the State Fair? I don't know.
It did become a confusing thing. You had the Chevy Park stage,
guess,
the Chevy
yeah.
Court area. Yeah, and both were stages, if I'm not mistaken. I know Smitty does a lot of concerts up there, but I believe both were venues for music. So
yeah.
Big announcement that we made earlier this week. Before I get to that, one of the Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers' wanted persons of the week has been found. He was arrested at a motel in Syracuse. Kyle White was taken into custody Wednesday after fleeing from Rome City Court on April 12th. An investigation by Rome police into White's whereabouts led them to a location in Syracuse. White was spotlighted as last week's Crime Stoppers' wanted person of the week. The story and witnesses had a chance to share more information with police anonymously. In many cases, if the subject is captured as a result of a lead, a cash reward is given out. The arrest stemmed from an incident on April 11th in which he was arrested for criminal possession of a controlled substance. He was processed and transported to Oneida County Central Arraignment, then set to reappear in Rome City Court. He appeared at the court but fled before being taken into custody. Again, he was apprehended in Syracuse and is now being held by Rome police. The big announcement earlier this week, it's about a couple of major talents coming to the area. Jimmy Fallon of Fox Across America has sold out 12 shows locally at Fat Cats Comedy Club, and now he's going up on the big stage. Jimmy Fallon and former MTV VJ Kennedy will be coming to the Stanley Theater on Veterans Day, November 11th at 7 p.m. Tickets for this big show go on sale next Friday. Of course, Jimmy, the host of Fox Across America, which you can hear every afternoon here on WIBX. Again, tickets for the show go on sale next Friday, and you better get them early because they will go quick. A nice day today and tomorrow. Some gorgeous weather, in fact. Full details here in your forecast.
On Eyewitness News, Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center today. Mostly sunny, turning significantly warmer and mainly dry. Increasing clouds late, spotty evening thunder shower, high of 82. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild, 54. And tomorrow, breezy, clouds increase, not quite as warm. Scattered showers and storms developing by afternoon, a high near 75. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
All right, in sports, we begin with the playoff action. The Nets now on the brink of elimination. They lost another one to the Philadelphia 76ers. They trailed the series 3-0. This one closer, though, 102-97. Brooklyn will try to avoid a sweep when it hosts Philadelphia in Game 4 tomorrow afternoon. The Knicks hoping to protect home court. They play host to the Cavaliers tonight in Game 3. That series tied at a game apiece. Hockey, Chris Kreider continues to light the lamp. The Rangers beat the Devils last night. 5-1 was the final. The Blue Shirts now have a 2-0 series lead. Kreider with 2 more goals. The Islanders return home down 2-0 in their best-of-7 first-round series against the Hurricanes. The Isles will be looking to get back in the series when they host Game 3 against the Canes coming up tonight. AHL playoff action. The Utica Comets playing at the Adirondack Bank Center. 7 o'clock tonight. A brief 3-game series. If the Comets win tonight at home, they advance to the next round. A loss tonight means a series-deciding Game 3 tomorrow night at the Adirondack Bank Center. Tomorrow night's action would also begin at 7 p.m. The winner of this series takes on North Division champion Toronto.
And it is do or die.
It is do
the
or
series.
Die. Yankees took care of the Angels in their rubber match, a 9-3 victory. Nestor Cortez got the win. He's now 3-0 on the season. The Mets, winners of back-to-back games as they took the series opener against the Giants. 9-4 the final. Pete Alonso, Eduardo Escobar, and Jeff McNeil all homered. The Mets now off to a 13-7 start. Joey Lucchesi gets his first start in the second game of the series tonight at Oracle Park. Oh, in the Scherzer thing.
Boy, I'm surprised.
Major League Baseball will suspend Max Scherzer 10 games for a foreign substance on his hand. The league announced the suspension on Thursday after Scherzer was ejected from Wednesday's win over the Dodgers. He claimed he was only using rosin and will begin his suspension immediately. Interesting, there's no appeal mention here.
They say with Scherzer, they're not appealing. The decision was not to appeal. And the thing is, interestingly, with Scherzer, they say if you look at him carefully, if he's lying, his eye colors change. I don't know. Looked a little suspicious to me.
For those who don't know, Max Scherzer is one of the few people on the planet who has a brown eye and a blue eye.
And that blue eye is almost like, I don't know. It's a different color blue eye.
Yeah, and it's very. You look at him, and it's kind of. It almost looks like he has two different eye. I mean, eye colors, yes, but they almost look like two different eyes.
I look in the pitcher's eyes. Ooh, and maybe that's why he has his. Maybe that's why he's so successful. But he spoke as if, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I did nothing. I did everything by the book. I mean, he was extremely believable.
Yeah.
But I guess what's he going to say?
Well, and here's my question.
This is bad, by the way, for the Mets. Very bad. We're already down with Verlander's down. Now you got Scherzer out of the lineup. Beatty's just been brought up. You're going to have to bring up some pitchers. This could mean they have to send Beatty back down. This is not good.
And Carlos Carrasco is struggling for you guys too.
Yes, he's been brutal this year.
Yeah.
Here's my question. In your opinion, this doesn't fall under the I cheated so I can't go to the Hall of Fame category, right? this type of an infraction?
Oh no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
no.
okay, I don't think so either.
Did George Brett never went to the Hall of Fame? Did he? Did he? Is he in the Hall of Fame?
He is a Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, think about that. The pine tar.
Wayne says his eyes are like a husky dog.
Oh, that's exactly right. It's not a blue eye. It's a husky dog eye.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's because it almost seems like something you'd see in a movie. It's like freaky. And he could correct that.
He can.
If he wanted to. He could put in a contact and most likely would just to color the eye, you wouldn't even see it. But I think it freaks people out. I think he likes it. It's his trademark.
Yeah, and it's obviously a very unique feature. And I will say, it must be because of the color, the way my eyes or your eyes perceive it. But what's in the middle? Is that the iris? Is it the pupil? The pupil. One looks bigger than the other, and that could be on the color background, how it just looks that way.
And
but that's why I say it looks like he has two different eyes.
A blue-eyed person versus a brown-eyed person deals with light differently. So it may very well be I believe so. You can look that up.
Wayne says women love it. I think some of them would be kind of freaked out by it.
Yeah, women love it. They may be too. I have no idea. Being that I'm not a woman and don't have two different color eyes. Okay. Julie brings up a good point on so Suburban Park in Syracuse used to be an amusement park. And I have relatives that used to live near there, and we would, always want to go there. I don't ever remember going there as a kid. Nonetheless, so it was Chevy Park and Chevy Court.
Yes.
So people were getting confused. And what Julie says is Chevy probably didn't have a problem with them changing it to Suburban Park. Why is that? Because Chevy's largest vehicle that is not a pickup truck is a Chevy Suburban.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
Never even put two and two together on that. So it may very well still be sponsored by Chevy. Interesting.
Smitty, was I right when I said that both were concert venues, or was one an eating area?
One was a concert area. The park, the
park is the largest concert venue.
The other one just got redesigned.
Right, but Chevy Park and Chevy Court were both music venues.
It's Chevy Court has always been the music.
Chevy Court,
okay.
And then Chevy Park
was
was
the one that they developed a few years back.
So yes was the answer. Yes,
and it's larger. Chevy Park is larger than Chevy Court.
Yeah, because it's off to the side at the fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, there you go. Some very vital information. Speaking of vital information, what are they going to be doing in Ilion this weekend with the power out? They're shutting their power off through the entire village for 10 hours. And the other part is they have municipal power, and we're going to talk to the mayor coming up in a few minutes. This is National Grid doing this.
Right.
So
and I've never heard of like the city of Utica shutting down for 10 hours because of National Grid work. Is this because they're a municipal provider?
I have no idea. We'll speak with the mayor on it. And how does that affect Remington Arms? Do they not have any shifts going over the weekend, or will there be no work at Remington? And although I would imagine for vital things, Remington has generators and that sort of thing. But it's going to be interesting. Hey, I want to go to McDonald's or to Dunkin' Donuts or wherever in Ilion. I want to pump gas in Ilion. Well, don't do it between this 9 and whatever it is, because there will be no power. Nothing will be operated. ATMs, I would imagine. Let's find out what the mayor says. We'll talk to him coming up next. Also, at Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend, Kevin Dombrowski, along with Bob Luparello, in this weekend on Friday and Saturday at Fat Cats Comedy Club. It's the next to the last weekend of the spring season. They'll take off for the summer and come back in the fall. Kevin Dombrowski coming up in just a minute.
Can I, with Richard here quickly, tell Davey to get his facts correct. Herman only used rosin. Max used a foreign substance called rubbing alcohol, to which mixed with rosin makes your hands more tacky. Max cheated. Herman didn't. Okay.
Well, now he says he used the rubbing alcohol to get the stickiness off,
and he says he did it right in front of the umpire.
And did it in front of the umpire.
Didn't he say I did it right in front of him?
Everything I did was in front of the umpire, and what he said is it was rosin and sweat.
And I'm not arguing with whether or not rosin and rubbing alcohol makes your hands more tacky or not, Richard. That's not what I'm saying. But if the act of using the rubbing alcohol was the issue, he wouldn't have been able to go get another glove, right? They would have just said.
Why wouldn't the major league officials? Why wouldn't they have said, "Hey, you can't do it that way. You got to do it this way"? Or it's just like they sit there and wait for you to screw up and then alert the ump and say, hey, he's cheating.
You know those little napkins you'd get? They're like little hand wipes if you're out, having lunch somewhere.
Like in that little you unwrap it.
We're apparently going to be getting a Major League sponsored, Major League Baseball verified, certified version of that.
Yeah.
If there's a problem with the pitcher, you have to use this cloth to clean your hand.
I don't get it, but I will tell you this. This is significant for the New York Mets, who are winning right now. This takes out a strong, one of their top starters. This is a big problem.
And John in Rome says, is Scherzer's favorite song Don't Make My Brown Eyes Blue?
Badum. Got a break. Hold on. We'll get to the mayor of Ilion coming up. Also, later in the hour, if you're a big fan of complete streets in the city of Utica, get ready to celebrate.
We might have breaking news on this.
We're hearing that as of the end of close of business today, it will be official and done in the city of Utica. We'll speak with someone that will confirm that for us coming up here. And I want to get into the Sentinel story as they covered this story on Bruce Karam, Utica City School District, and the
Kim Devins.
Kim Devins, who is Bianca, the mother of Bianca Devins, who was murdered brutally back a few years ago on Boilermaker Sunday, and was the target of the rant by Bruce Karam. That is the recording that we played earlier in the week. You can get it up on our website at WIBX950.com. Got a break. The mayor of Ilion coming up next.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
This is an important message for anyone who's on Medicaid and needs home care. Did you know that a family member, close friend, or even a neighbor can get paid to be your caregiver in the comfort of your own home? That's right. If you're on Medicaid, your child, grandchild, friend, or someone else you know and trust can be paid per hour to be your caregiver through a Medicaid-funded program. Just call 800-480-1730, and Horizon Home Care Services will help you hire the loved one you choose to be your caregiver. Horizon is based right here in upstate New York. As your neighbor, nobody cares more than Horizon about getting your caregiver paid the best rates on time. If you're on Medicaid, this service is absolutely free for you. Just call 800-480-1730 right now. Get the home care you need from a loved one or known friend, and they can get paid to help you at home. Just call 800-480-1730. This service is absolutely free to you, and your relative or friend gets paid to be a caregiver. Just call 800-480-1730. 800-480-1730. 800-480-1730.
Hey, Ricky Z at Steve Pawnee Mazda is ready to take care of you. Right now at Steve Pawnee Mazda, their Move to Mazda sales event is back. Now, you may be driving down the road and saying to yourself, wow, look at all the Mazdas. They're everywhere. And Rick says it's not any coincidence. It's a hot brand right now. Maybe it's time for you to be driving an award-winning Mazda. Try one out. Check it out. And it's Steve Pawnee Mazda right now. Their Move to Mazda sales event is back. 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all new 2023 Mazda CX-30s, CX-5s, and CX-50s. And I just saw the CX-90 is out. Have you seen this vehicle? It's so I have the CX-9, and this is larger than that vehicle, and they've tricked it out. It's supposed to be quite the vehicle.
Oh, I
Pretty
can tell
excited.
by the look on your face.
Yeah, it's caught my attention.
Bill's going to be getting a new vehicle soon.
It has caught my attention. I'm just saying that. It's their Move to Mazda sales event from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction. Steve Pawnee Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning, and in studio right now is comedian Kevin Dombrowski. And Kevin, good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
You look a little like, I just want to tell you, if you had two different if you had two different color eyes and a different hat on, you look like Scherzer.
Oh, okay. I thought
you got a little Scherzer going on there.
A little bit, yeah.
I was really afraid of a serial killer reference, to be honest.
You look like you're here to kill us.
If you had two different color eyes and you skinned animals with your father, you would look like this guy.
That's a good point. We'll chat with you a little bit. We're going to give away some tickets. Hang in there, and we'll take care of a few things. Magic Bill wants everybody to know he'll be there tonight at Fat Cats Comedy Club. He warms up the crowd with a little up-close magic.
Ooh.
And he's excellent at it, yes.
He's very good. Mayor John Stevens in Ilion. Mayor, good morning.
Good morning. Morning, everybody. How are you?
Good. This is unprecedented. I don't ever remember power being shut off for 10 hours on purpose.
Nor do I.
Yeah. And this is, I guess the confusion that I have is Ilion has municipal power, so you own your own power system, but it's National Grid that is doing this, and they're basically saying you either do it now or we'll do it at any time when things go bad. So explain what's happening and why.
All right. Well, it's a preventative maintenance thing on the National Grid side. Ilion does have our own power, but we don't produce the power. We purchase that.
Okay.
We purchase that from a few different entities, National Grid being one of them. They have an issue in their 115 kV line that feeds the village, so they have to shut that down to do the maintenance on that. And it's a point where we either schedule that or what they have to maintain fails on its own, and then we don't know it's coming.
Okay.
So can I ask why, if you only receive some of your power from them, how come everybody's power is gonna be completely, I don't want to say dark, it'll be during the day?
Yeah, that 115 kV line that comes in is the main source of power. We do have a 46 kV line that comes in the other way. I was listening to you guys earlier. Remington will not be affected by this because they're fed off the 46 side.
Okay.
But the rest of the village, where we do purchase other power, it all comes in from National Grid.
Okay. So will there be some parts of, by the way, I like how everything's got a name and a number attached to it. The K737 is going to be flying in from the south.
Well, he's talking about just the kilovolt, the wattage, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that's the size of the line, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, when my guys start talking about this stuff, my eyes kind of glaze over.
Right, I understand that, yes. So will there be parts of Ilion that will have power? I mean, you say Remington will.
Just Remington.
Just Remington.
Remington is fed off a completely separate issue. I think you remember back in 2010, Bill, we got them on board. They are completely completely
Okay.
separate from the rest of the village.
And then, does this mean restaurants,
Yes.
fast food, gas stations, bank ATMs, everything goes
Some of
down
the-
tomorrow?
Correct, but many of the businesses have I've been
Generator.
contacted by Kinney's and Cliffs and Fast Track. They're all bringing in ways to keep up and running. So there will be
Okay.
ATMs and gas and stuff like that available. I was more worried about the mom and pop shops, the Serranos, the Francos, things like that. It's a Saturday. That's a big day for them.
Yeah, it is.
And we went door to door to the business district with the notice, hand delivered it to them. I've spoken with them. We've done the media blasts. We've done the social media blasts. We've done the sign in front. And I've been questions. Well, why is the news just covering it now? I can't tell the news when to run a story.
Right.
I can inform them of what's going on, but when your media outlets such as you folks and the TVs and stuff choose to run it, they run it.
Well, let's be honest. If we would have publicized this a month ago, everybody would have forgotten about it. They wouldn't even know.
And that's exactly what I was told. They said, well, we'll wait till 2 or 3 days beforehand because people think it's this Saturday, and then it's not, and then.
So
I agree.
I assume there are generators to handle. You have the Grand Nursing Home. You have Slocum Dixon is down there. Is it Slocum that's down there?
Slocum is in the HARC facility, the old Phase Mall.
London Towers. You have the
London Towers, Prindle. Yeah, they've all been personally hand delivered.
Okay.
Notified. They all have their contingency plans in effect.
Quick comment here, and this is from your predecessor. He says, during my term, we shut down the power from midnight to 6 a.m. For work at the substation. We asked National Grid to do the work then. They did not. Yep. Also, I spoke with electric department, and they say there's a way to rewire it so a complete shutdown is not necessary. Any comment?
Yes. We did speak with the grid about doing this at night. That was a heavy discussion at the board level. And they came back and said, due to the fact that they're working on that 115 is the highest feed, it's the highest voltage feed that we have, they would not do it at night for safety reasons. The example they gave me was, if I have an employee up there in the bucket and he thinks it's a shadow and it's not, and it's the wire and he hits that, you'll never find him or the truck.
All right.
It would just completely disintegrate someone. As far as switching over, that's been done before, but it can't be done now because while the National Grid is taking this opportunity to do their maintenance, our crews are going to do maintenance that we need to do so that we avoid another shutdown.
In the future, you're saying?
Because we were going to schedule, the village was going to schedule a shutdown in June or July to do annual preventative maintenance. So now we're going to do it all at one time while everything's down, and that's the way we're going.
I do have to question. I saw this last night on TV where National Grid said, "Well, of course we can't do it at night, because it would be dangerous, and let's not forget we'd have to pay overtime." That's what I think it's all about. I don't think it has anything to do with shadows at all. I mean, if you drive, construction sites work 24 hours all the time.
And if there's a power outage in the winter, they don't say we'll get to it in the morning.
Yeah, I don't want anybody fried.
Look, I also don't want to make light of this, but I'll underwork if you need me to. I'll do it for undertime.
We have a comedian here that'll
good rate they get.
I can hear him talking, but I can't hear him. I can hear him in the background.
I've got him now. We have his name is Kevin Dombrowski, and he'll do it for less.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, look, I'm getting paid well at the club, but I could always use extra. So if you guys need, I'll get the hands dirty. I'll actually, you know what? In addition to the generators, I'll do up close comedy. We're having up close magic. I'll come around and do up close comedy if you guys all come to the.
Nice.
We're gonna have power at the show, right?
We will.
Okay,
we will.
good.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
All right.
No worry there.
But you know what? There's a lot of people in the village with nothing to do tomorrow. I mean,
Go to
the want out. Absolutely.
Get out. All right. That's so. Obviously, this is a big deal for the people of your village, Mayor.
Oh, absolutely. And look, the only thing I can say is, look, we at the board level all understand that this is a huge inconvenience. It is for us as well.
Yeah.
But please, to the public, please, if you have concerns, we'll always take your calls. But the office staff is not to blame for this, and the people are calling, they're irate. the ladies in the office are putting up with a whole lot of stuff that they shouldn't have to be putting up with.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. They they're employed by the village and answering the phones.
Who would call up and yell at the secretary? I mean, it just doesn't make any
well,
sense.
It's happened
like
daily
Twitter.
since we've made the announcement, and it's more frequent now because it's getting close to. I said to my wife the other day, people are acting like the world's coming to an end in the village of Ilion because look, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be 10 hours, Bill.
Right.
That's the window they give themselves. They could be done by noon.
Yeah. All right. So that would be a nice plus for a lot of people. It's like, wow, I can't believe the power came back on early. So, okay, interesting stuff. Mayor John Stevens, good luck over there.
All right. Thanks, guys. Always appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for the update. All right.
Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
So that's not something you normally see happen. This is really unique.
Well, right. And I understand the situation where they're a municipal provider and they got the 2 feeds of power, but like this never happens in Utica or Rome or anywhere.
Rob says, why not do it 10 p.m. till 8 a.m. Saturday through Sunday? Well, they're saying, National Grid is saying because of shadows, it could disintegrate people. Basically is what they're saying. I don't necessarily buy that.
I think it was a misquote. They said because of overtime, it could devastate our budget.
Right.
That's what I think it's more about.
This sounds like a Groundhog's Day issue to me. Because of shadows, there'd be 6 more months of blackout.
Could be the case. That could be the case and the problem. So, Kevin, you're from Jersey, right?
I am a Jersey guy. I try not to tell people that, but I am from New Jersey.
You go so far as to wear a New York hat.
It fools people. You'd be surprised. You put a York instead of a Jersey, and people oddly respect you.
Yeah, Jersey does get a bad rap, doesn't it?
It does kind of, yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I just bought a house, and by that, of course, I mean my wife bought a house about an hour north of New York into New Jersey. I'm in the woods in the mountains on a lake, and let me tell you something.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like when Vito was hiding from The Sopranos.
Yeah,
That's as close to the New Jersey that people know that you would recognize it from.
Was that in the pickup truck? Was that Vito?
Oh, yeah, that was Vito.
The moment in the pickup truck.
Yeah, and then when he went on the run, there was that whole half season that was dedicated to his...
And it's funny because Vito, so after Sopranos ends, and what's his name? Tony, what was his name? His real name, the actor's name, Tony Soprano.
James Gandolfini.
James Gandolfini, yeah. Well, after he died, Vito got a lot of criticism because he was going around talking about how, he was doing all the interviews, and everybody was coming out saying, he barely knew Gandolfini. He wasn't that big of a character, and he's taking credit for it. He's signing it. We had him up here several times. From
That's
the
interesting.
Sopranos
to me.
was hot.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually how people can tell him from New Jersey. They go, Tony Soprano. I go, how dare you, James Gandolfini.
Yeah, that's right. How dare you? All right, so hang with us a little bit, Kevin.
Yeah, let's do it.
And it's Fat Cats Comedy Club in Washington Mills inside Tony's Pizzeria. We're announcing also that tickets go on sale for Jimmy Fallon and Kennedy from Fox Business News, Fox Business Channel. And, of course, she's a former VJ from MTV. They'll be coming up on Veterans Day, November 11th. Tickets go on sale next Friday on Ticketmaster and at the Stanley Theater box office. The Live, Laugh, and Freedom Tour, I think is what it's called. Pretty cool. But this is the last 2 weekends of Fat Cats Comedy Club, and there are shows tonight and tomorrow night. Check it out. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com.
Bernie in Utica says, don't forget about Vito's Johnny Cakes. We got
Johnny
the Johnny Cakes.
Johnny Cakes. Yeah, that was the pickup truck.
That's actually what I call my house. That's the
Johnny
nickname.
Cakes.
That's the lake house. We call it Johnny
Cakes. We're going up to Johnny Cakes. I'm sure that impresses your wife.
100%. Yeah, she loves it.
Hold tight. 7:35 at WIBX.
From screen printing and embroidery to promotional products and online shops, it's all under one new roof at Max's Print Shop in Marcy. Order anytime and any quantity in person or online at maxsprintshop.com. Since 1978, we pride ourselves on personally meeting every customer's need. We can take your project from design to production. And remember, Max's Print Shop will stitch anything. And we mean anything in the Utica Rome area. Find us at 9555 River Road in Marcy or online at maxsprintshop.com.
The internet can be an all-you-can-eat buffet for identity thieves.
Ugh, so full.
Too many maiden names.
And social security numbers.
Where'd you find those?
By the password bar. Can't miss them.
LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss by monitoring your credit and bank statements. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to lifelock.com.
Want to kick back with your favourite British TV? Escape with Britain's best series, only on BritBox. Don't miss new and exclusive releases, including BritBox original drama Stonehouse, starring Succession's Matthew McFadden.
It's Stonehouse, John Stonehouse.
Follow the unbelievable true story of the British politician who faked his own death.
I deny those allegations in the strongest possible terms.
Succession's Matthew McFadden stars in BritBox's new original drama, Stonehouse. Stream this and more at BritBox.com.
Are you considering buying an electric vehicle or a plug-in hybrid? Wouldn't it be nice to just fuel up at home with an EV charging station? Potentia is helping to make the convenience of charging easier for your home and your business. As a leader in green electrical projects, Potentia has completed hundreds of large sustainable commercial projects across New York State and are now getting into the residential market. No more stops at the gas station. Charge at home conveniently and economically. With New York State's zero emissions mandate by 2035, Potentia can help design, supply, even install residential and commercial EV charging systems at your home or your business. From permitting and design through the complete installation, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3 with a turnkey EV charging solution with various packages and options available. They guarantee your satisfaction with all their products and their workmanship. Visit Potentia at 4685 Middle Settlement Road, New Hartford. Give them a call at 315-765-6184 or view their website at potentiamanagement.com.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the NECA Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Syracuse University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Syracuse University's partnership with the IBEW will provide talented students the opportunity to advance their careers while shaping the future of the electrical trades and the industries they serve.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Home and Hospital Medical Supply and the New Hartford Shopping Center proudly carries a wide selection of home medical equipment. Lift chairs to buy or rent, canes, crutches, walkers, powered scooters, braces, foot care products, and so much more. And if for some reason they don't carry the product you need, they'll custom order it at no extra charge. Mary and her experienced team are there to assist you Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, or call them 315-724-6767 and online at HNHMedicalNY.com. Home and Hospital Medical Supplies, we make life easier.
Here at Lee Baldwin & Company, we're always doing the math, so we are asking everyone to take the 4% challenge. And here's how it works. You look at your savings, IRA, and other investment accounts and see if you are getting close to 4% interest on your cash. If not, just give us a call for a comparison of options available today. For your trouble, we will offer a cup of coffee for taking the time to hopefully have your money work harder for you. Oh, and don't forget to ask about even higher yielding CDs. Please call us at 315-734-1410 or visit our website at investtoday.com. That's investtoday.com. We are a member of FINRA and SIPC, and all of our CDs are FDIC insured. So take the 4% challenge and have your money work harder for you. And as always, you do the dreaming and we'll do the math. Investtoday.com.
All right, Davey, let's do our free money question of the day. A chance for you to win from the Habaika Law Firm. And is he in there? Can you see if he's in there? He is in there. What caller are you looking for here, Davey?
5.
All right, fifth caller through the lines. Chance at $100. Coming up, we'll speak with the Utica councilperson, Samantha Colosimo-Testa, on breaking news on these complete streets. And you know that there's an anniversary about to happen at the Utica Masonic Hall, and we have someone in here to talk about that coming up, and someone in full regalia. I'll explain, and you'll see it if you're checking out the show on YouTube this morning. You'll be able to see it coming up in a second. Right now, a quick update from Manaski at 7:40.
Some sunshine, a few clouds, 51 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:40. This news update is brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. The Supreme Court could issue a ruling today regarding nationwide access to the abortion drug mifepristone. The decision comes after the court extended a temporary stay on a Texas federal judge's ruling that would halt distribution of that drug. A recent poll found over 50% of Americans say the Supreme Court should reverse that Texas judge's ruling. A new study says a state's reproductive health laws are a factor in many Americans' decisions on where to attend college. The study from Lumina Foundation found an overwhelming majority of adults, both Democrat and Republican, said they would be more likely to enroll at a college if a state allowed greater access to reproductive health services. Authorities arresting a man accused of critically injuring 3 people after a basketball rolled into his yard. The Gaston County Police Department confirming Thursday that 24-year-old Robert Singletary has been arrested in Florida. He's accused of shooting a 6-year-old girl, her parents, and another neighbor on Tuesday night, critically injuring the girl and the 2 adults. Alec Baldwin giving thanks after manslaughter charges against him were dropped related to the deadly shooting on the set of his movie Rust. On Instagram, the actor posted a photo of himself with his wife with the words, "I owe everything I have to this woman," end quote. He also wrote, "And to you, Luke," referring to his lawyer. Conservative radio host Larry Elder is running for president in 2024. Elder joins a growing list of candidates looking for the GOP nomination. On Twitter Thursday, Elder claimed that America is in decline, but vowed that this decline is not inevitable. Saturday is National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day. It's observed every year to keep prescription drugs from being misused. Collection sites for unneeded prescriptions will be available across the country and will accept medications of all kinds with no questions asked. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast: a gorgeous day today, a nice day tomorrow. We'll worry about Sunday on Sunday. Here's your forecast from Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center today. Mostly sunny, turning significantly warmer and mainly dry. Increasing clouds late, spotty evening thunder shower, high of 82. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild, 54. And tomorrow, breezy, clouds increase, not quite as warm. Scattered showers and storms developing by afternoon, a high near 75. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
We have some sunshine, 51 degrees. WIBX News Time, 7:43. Brought to you by My Carl's. Shop My Carl's today for the lowest prices, no credit-needed financing, and fast same-day delivery in the New Hartford Shopping Center and Destiny, USA.
All right, let's do our free money question of the day from the Hobeika Law Firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobeika, 315-724-1600 for all of your legal needs. And each day we give somebody a chance to win $100 plus some other stuff. John is in Remsen. Hello, John.
Hello, Bill. How are you?
Good. You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
I feel like we gave away our first $100 yesterday for April, and I feel like we'll give away our second today. Who knows? Let's see what happens. Here's your question. What big event sparked yesterday near Boca Chica, Texas? Ready, go.
The remembrance of the Alamo.
Was it? No, it wasn't. Anybody know the answer to that? It was SpaceX yesterday.
Oh, that's right.
It exploded. It took off, did really well off the out of Boca Chica, Texas, and then over the coast. It got over the water, and then the whole thing exploded.
I was trying to think of where the Rangers baseball team is located. I thought you were going to say it was Jacob deGrom's shoulder exploded yesterday, which is probably overdue.
By the way, I don't know if you saw, the reason I ran with this, because I saw the story where if you're like a spectator, you're not allowed anywhere near this. Because of this reason right here, because it can explode. But there was a guy in a minivan that had that was recording it, but he was too close. So when it exploded, his minivan was trashed. He survived it, but it was really, really bad.
Are you saying that he hit a shadow?
What was that?
Are you saying that he hit a shadow?
Back to the shadow. Back to the shadow.
He hit a shadow.
There's an Ilion thing, and it was quite a shadow. Here is audio of what went down. What he heard. Completely trashing his minivan. And he survived to talk about it. Pretty
well,
wild.
I have to ask, though, what claim to fame does what it's called SpaceX?
Yeah.
If a 92 Chrysler Town and Country is keeping pace with it, then what's the big deal?
Yeah.
I don't understand. It flies. Doesn't fly that fast.
I also love how you say he trashed his minivan like it probably wasn't filled with McDonald's anyway.
Right. The thing was a mess all over the floor. Now, he was actually on the ground videotaping. The thing took off and then exploded over top, but it was close enough where it destroyed his minivan. That's what happened. All right, you don't care to hear about this, John. We're going to give you the all-in-one food and fun card from the Comets, Aquavino, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill, Taylor and the Cook, and any of the concession stands. What was that? What was that again, John?
I used one of the cards from the at the 72 last night.
You did. All right. Well, you got another one.
Yeah.
Let's keep it flowing. And then one more. We're going to give you a table for 6 this weekend or next weekend. Make a pick at Fat Cats Comedy Club in Washington Mills. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com for details. John, stand by, and Davey's going to hook you up, okay?
All right, thanks, Bill. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to put him on hold. Let's do Samantha first, and then let's bring in the Admiral.
Okay.
All right, are we able to do that?
Yes.
And then, Davey, you can bring him in if you want when you're done with John. This is going to be very exciting. What's going to be about to happen here? I'm really very excited about it. Here's Samantha Colosimo Testa with some breaking news here this morning on the controversial complete streets in downtown Utica.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
What do we know here, Samantha?
What do we know is that at our meeting on Wednesday, there was a call for a special meeting at 2 o'clock today to discuss the complete streets legislation.
Discuss or take action?
Well, take action. I mean, you're not going to call a special meeting if you don't plan on voting on something. So there was 6 members that decided that they were going to call a special meeting at 2 o'clock. Apparently, none of them work because I can't be there at 2, and a majority of the public can't be there at 2. So it was very convenient for them to schedule a meeting, when they claim that they're so transparent and open during the time where a majority of the public can't be there.
You think they scheduled it so you couldn't be there?
I mean, who's the common denominator and really is the person that they have a problem with? I mean,
who's the loud one?
Take the pick on who actually implemented complete streets and who actually knows a little bit about complete streets inside the city. And it's actually insulting that they call it complete streets because it's really not. They just drew lines on a piece of paper and decided to, implement that on Genesee Street, which I find it amazing. We had asked what the cost was, and just to do the temporary striping was $80,000. So if they go to the permanent component that they're actually looking to do, it's about $1.1 million.
Wow.
For permanent striping.
Sam, let me ask you a question. If it was $80,000 to put the stripes on, it's been on since November. They're already faded off. It's all one lane. It's not 3 lanes or 4 lanes. It's one lane.
What frightens me, and listen, anybody could say that road diets are good if you go from 4 to 3 lanes, blah, 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 blah. The problem that I have is you have, number one, that people don't follow the traffic pattern. I avoid Genesee Street because I don't even pay attention because I don't know where the lines are. There's not proper signage up. So they're saying that, hey, it could be rectified if they do the lines right and they put up proper signage. The whole entire route wasn't even complete. It's supposed to go all the way up to Cottage Place. So not only did you not have the test run to see, what the possibility, the outcome of the line change could be to, somebody like the Stanley or, those businesses in and around that corridor. It hasn't even been a complete project. So what are you testing? Yes. You're not even testing the completeness of the project that you actually initiated to move forward.
Well, wasn't there first of all, I thought they extended the 90 days, so that would put us to mid-April where we are now. But wasn't there a Syracuse firm got hired? Have you guys gotten that report back?
Yeah, we got their report. They were there on Wednesday. No discredit to the firm by any means. I mean, they're there. They were there. They were asked to do a job. They did the job. But there was a number of questions that several members of the council had that couldn't be answered because their narrative was to only push how going from 4 lanes to 3 lanes would work on Genesee Street.
Right.
And you could use any other municipality inside New York State or the country for that matter, okay? Genesee Street is very unique, okay? For example, if you're going to Bank of Utica, okay, they've got a drive-through that connects right off Genesee Street. When you have cars lined back up from, in their drive-through all the way onto the street, I mean, you have delivery trucks, and we were told that delivery trucks shouldn't be loading in the middle of the street, that there should be delivery lanes. You have a number of people, with limited parking on where you're supposed to go. All those parking spaces along Genesee Street are for a majority of the time, filled.
Yeah.
So where are these delivery? Now you're going to take the limited parking that you have, take it away, add delivery trucks. And I had asked, what happens when you add the lanes going to Cottage Place, and in front of the building across from where Swifties and Encore is, there's a bus stop there.
Right. What are you going to do
now
with that?
What are you going to do? Move the bus stop? I mean, they haven't even taken the trial and error. And this thing's been going on since November. Or October, whatever they decided to implement it. And they still are up in the air. You know what they should do? Just go back to the drawing board. Wait till the hospital comes, because now you're going to have multiple emergency vehicles going in and out of the hospital. On top of the congestion, listen, I guarantee, and I could take a survey from anybody, I guarantee that there's been less traffic on Genesee Street from now, at this point in time from November, because people don't want to drive down.
Right, they don't know what to do.
Can I just say?
I've done the Ride for Missing Children several times. I ride my bike constantly. I take my kids here, take my kids there, and a bike. I wouldn't drive my bike down Genesee Street unless I wanted to, play a round of roulette to see whether or not I would get hit by a car or something along those lines. And I guarantee that any bikist would agree with that.
Mike says, well, I think Complete Streets would be a success. No one wants to drive on it because, and that leaves all the more room for bikes. So it is a success.
So you want to limit? You want to destroy all of Genesee Street?
I know, I get it.
So that
I
four
understand.
people can ride a bike.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Just two things. However you feel about this, can I request that they sink the damn lights on Genesee Street?
It would be
it's
nice.
brutal. You sit
That
there
was
for
actually a
90 seconds, and then you go to it turns green, and then just as you're crossing the intersection, the next one turns red, and you got another 90 seconds. It's
and
ridiculous.
you believe that they're going to put this, that's going to be made permanent today at this special meeting?
That's their goal. I mean, and I can.
Right.
That's if they can guarantee 5 votes.
Okay.
But again, I mean, what is the point in having a meeting? I mean, that those business owners, their business hours go past 2:00 in the afternoon on a Friday. I mean, you're really not giving anybody the opportunity. If you're really making this, no call for a public hearing, no nothing.
Yeah.
Literally, not even a 72-hour notice, what is in their rules.
I was just going to say.
Special meeting.
You would know this better than me. Aside from whether you like Complete Streets or not, don't they have their own rule that says you can't have a meeting 48 hours? You got to have at least 3 days.
It's the Democrat majority rule. Okay, whatever rule that they decide is to be implemented that day is the rule that's going to be there. I mean, come on. We've been seeing it now. We don't have committee meetings. We don't do this. We have 3-hour-long committee meetings on a Wednesday before we vote on meetings. There's no legislation that's discussed. Sometimes somebody said, "Oh, you voted on that." I don't even remember because it's such a disaster area in the time that we're voting on stuff. And I remember stuff that happened in 2011 when I got on the council. I can't remember stuff that happened last week because it's so chaotic.
I can't imagine why they would want to hold a meeting without you, Samantha. I cannot imagine.
Now, Samantha,
Listen,
if I may,
you want to know why? Because it's the knowledge and expertise of all those years of service that I put into on the Common Council.
Well, you just don't take any crap.
If I may, Samantha.
And unfortunately, you can't with these people because you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Yes,
that's the unfortunate part. And the worst part about it is you actually have people running for re-election, running for mayor of the city of Utica, and claiming transparency. Would you want the mayor of the city of Utica to agree to hold a meeting within 36 hours of hosting a meeting? Absolutely not. And this is the problem. And this is the problem that I have. Everybody, talks a good game on the radio or on their Facebook page or this, that, and the third. When they're really just not. They're not
going to be transparent
or good government.
All right.
To be honest with you.
All right. Let's see what happens today. 2:00 is that meeting, right?
Yes, hopefully I can at least do a phone conference. So
here's
my mouth open.
Here's comedian Kevin Dombrowski.
Samantha, look, I've only been in town for about 3.5 hours. In all fairness. But I do want you to know that I've offered my services to get the power grids back up in another town. I'm willing to go to this meeting for you at 2:00.
I like that.
Look, I'm a stay-at-home father, and I don't have my kid. I don't know what to do right now, so I'll actually go after this show and call myself Samantha and go to the meeting early.
That's great, but I got to be honest with you. You got to have some pretty thick skin in order to take my seat. The only thing we might have in common is I'm a pretty good jokester. That's about it.
Okay, she is. She's going head-to-head with you. All right, Samantha, let's see what happens.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
I want to introduce everybody to Commander Card, who is in here this morning. Good morning, Commander. Good morning. How are you?
I'm terrific.
Tell us, I love the regalia.
You got to see this on YouTube. Go check it out on YouTube right now.
I think I might be able to. There you are. You're all dressed up. And I feel like I've seen somewhere in the grocery store a can with your picture on it.
Probably. Either that or the Gorton's fish sticks.
That might be it. That might be it.
That's great.
But in all actuality, we're talking about the bicentennial of the Masonic. Is it the Masonic home in Utica?
It's the Masonic Knights Templar in Utica. We call ourselves Utica Commandery number 3. We go back to 1823.
Okay.
Our warrant was signed by no less than DeWitt Clinton himself.
Wow.
But the real history goes back, almost 1,000 years before that.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys been in that house since that year? Because it feels like with the regalia, it feels like you guys aren't aware that there's like an H&M out there.
This isn't even the old uniform. You ought to see the old one.
This is the updated.
This is the modern uniform.
Did you guys have a 2 p.m. meeting to vote on the new uniform?
So he knows a little bit about Masonic. If you've done any, do you guys? I seem to recall doing like a party at a Masonic home or at a Masonic temple.
Yep.
And at a certain time at night, you have to shut everything down. Is that the case?
Well,
for some sort of an honor type thing.
Anyone that goes, is not going to be what you think
we don't like
it
to
is.
talk about that.
So we have some rules about alcohol.
Okay.
Because
I'm out.
back in the day, the Masons developed a reputation for imbibing a little too much.
A little too much.
And to
okay.
save our own reputation, we had to lay down some rules.
Okay, so I just remember something at a Masonic temple. So, but what is up inside the when you go upstairs? It's intricate. It's beautiful. Talk about the actual facility. That dates back to the 1800s.
Well, yeah. So the Utica Masonic Hall is a Rococo revival architecture.
Okay.
And, back in the 70s, you could get lunch there on what was called the club floor, the second floor. And it was a big part, of downtown life back when there was downtown life. And we're hoping that soon there will be again downtown
Coming
life.
back,
and we'll be a part of it.
Sure. So what will happen as part of the bicentennial celebration?
Yeah, so like I say, it goes back a long time. The Knights Templar and the Crusades started in about 20 years after the First Crusade succeeded. The city of Jerusalem had been taken, and set aside whether you think the Crusades themselves were a good idea or a bad idea.
Yeah.
The way the Knights Templar got started is they were to protect pilgrims who had traveled maybe 1,000 miles across Europe or whatever to go to the Holy Land, right? And so the Knights Templar existed for about 200 years. And then because the King of France was pissed off that we wouldn't let him in, and he owed the Knights Templar a lot of money, he pressured the Pope to suppress the Knights Templar, and thus Friday the 13th and that whole deal, right?
Okay.
So for hundreds of years, who knows what happened to the Knights Templar, right? The records are poor.
Sure.
And Sir Knight Dennis Davis, who used to be the Grand Commander last year of Knights Templar in New York State, he's going to give a talk at 11 o'clock on Saturday about that history, the original Knights Templar.
Cool.
But then long about 1737, a guy in France, a guy named Ramsay, who everybody calls the Chevalier, he gave this talk about how somehow Freemasonry and the Knights Templar were connected, right? Now, there's no proof of this, right?
Okay.
But we could talk about this for hours, trust me. Anyway, so that was back around 1737, and things kind of got rolling, and eventually New York State formed a Grand Commandery in 1814, and in 1823, DeWitt Clinton signed our warrant, right? So we're going to have an 1823 period menu at lunch.
Oh, that's
right?
cool. Yeah.
But we're going to accommodate all the kind of modern weird dietary restrictions, gluten-free, dairy-free, whatever.
It's crazy.
So that was a challenge. And
Yes,
then I'm
it
going
is
to
a
talk for a
challenge.
few minutes about that history after the Knights Templar got suppressed, bringing us up to 1823.
Okay.
And then there's going to be another talk right after me about all the great lights of Utica history who were members of our commandery. Thomas Proctor, first mayor of the city of Utica, a whole bunch of guys.
So a lot of history.
And then finally, we're going to have a rededication ceremony, very, very formal. And then we'll probably toast our warrant for anybody who's still sticking around.
All right. So you haven't completely given up on the alcohol.
Oh, no.
Okay, good.
I'm back
Just
in.
checking.
I'm back in.
So when you talk about the connection with Knights Templar and Masonic, there's like, when you said you could talk about this for hours, there are hours worth of probably YouTube videos with conspiracies about this, right? Is that kind of what you're referring to? Everybody's got a theory on who did what and what was connected to what.
Yeah, a few years ago, I was asked to talk about Masonry at a thing, and there was this guy who sat right up front, and he was obviously a conspiracy theorist, right? And after I got done my talk, I'm like, okay, questions, and he says, yeah, I got a question. I understand, I got on good authority that the Masons are a conspiracy to rule the world. What do you say to that? I go, well, I got 3 answers. First answer. We run blood drives. We send kids to summer camp.
Right.
We can barely organize a bake sale. No, that's not us, right? Okay. I go, all right, second answer. No. We're not a conspiracy to rule the world. We did that 3,000 years ago. Didn't you get the memo?
That's right.
And I go, third answer. I'm in a long list of Masonic organizations, but so far they haven't let me in on the secret committee that rules the world. And if they ever find me worthy, and they do, I won't tell you.
Yeah, obviously, you wouldn't tell.
This is how you know conspiracy theorists are out of their mind. When a guy dressed like this goes, "You're crazy." That's one of the greatest lines I've ever heard in my life. He goes, "What, are you out of your mind?"
By the way, you got to
love
check out the outfit. Very, how do we say this? It's a 200-year-old organization, right?
Yes.
As Kevin said, there wasn't an H&M on the corner.
No.
But can I just say, though, I got to talk to the baseball umpires, guys, the Mohawk Valley baseball umpires. We got to get those hats. Nobody will argue balls and strikes with me if I'm wearing a hat that behind the plate.
Well, I mean,
think about it.
And the sword helps as well. Yes, it does.
How can people take advantage of all of this? You just show up?
Show up by 11 o'clock this Saturday morning. We're going to have tours of the little museum that we have there in the building up on the first floor and the fourth floor. We're going to have some really interesting artifacts. I don't know if anybody...
What is this?
Where's the camera?
The camera will be your camera right up here.
Is that Jack Sparrow's bandana?
This is no longer legal. They made us stop wearing these.
Oh.
What is that?
Oh, wow.
Oh, turn it around. He'll know.
I'm not sure. I'm afraid I'm not going to know.
You see the backside of that?
Yeah.
You wore that around your waist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that's
It's even got a holder. We'll call it a junk holder.
Oh, it took me. It's the last thing I would have expected. That's why it took me so long.
Only Chippendales wear those today. So, right?
Yeah.
That's the
I was like, where did those clips go?
I don't even want to know.
Yeah, so anybody can just show up. It's a public event, right?
All right.
And unless you are a Sir Knight, in which case you should be in uniform, you wear what you want, right?
Okay.
It's not, the only thing that's formal is the rededication ceremony, and we just ask people, sit quiet and respectful during that.
Yeah.
If you want to have lunch, we may have enough extra. I took reservations,
All right.
Anyway, if anybody wants to ask questions about this or see if we can get one more lunch on the table, Utica 3KT at googlegroups.com.
Okay.
Say it one more time. Utica
3KT at googlegroups.com, because we're Utica Commandery, number 3 of the Masonic Knights Templar.
It is, when you talk about a lot of the conspiracy stuff, many believe that when you look back through history, people who were important in our history were Masons, and that's where a lot of this conspiracy stuff comes from.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you must be a Mason in order to,
yeah, I mean,
rule the country, the world.
Well, so the Masons believe in staying out of politics, but being involved in civic responsibility, right? So like DeWitt Clinton, he was a U.S. Senator from New York. He was mayor in New York City. He was governor in New York State. He was responsible for the building of the Erie Canal that opened the West, right, of the United States.
Yep.
And he was our Grand Master.
Okay, very cool. I also want to say I appreciate the fact that you have a good sense of humor, because it's not every day we see someone come walking into our studio looking like you.
Captain
Kangaroo? I saw someone like that walking down 87 on my way up last night. So
yeah, it was him.
It was.
He was making his way in.
It was lights out. Yeah, I get that.
But very impressive and a great deal of history.
Yeah. Well, when I saw that Kevin was here before me, I was hoping that he'd hang around because I figured, hey, the Knights Templar could take on Saladin. We could probably handle one comedian, right?
You definitely can. And you did. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Check that out tomorrow. We'll break WIBX Utica Rome. It's 8:05.
Power Sports of Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there. It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Hi, this is Lori with Express Employment Professionals. Are you looking for a new job, a career change, a position within your field? Express Employment Professionals is the staffing firm for you. Express has multiple job opportunities across many industries throughout our region. Are you an IT professional? Find that perfect company now. CNC machinists, HVAC and boiler mechanics, we've got the job for you. Are you a warehouse worker, machine operator, forklift driver? Find a better job now. Industrial painters, sheet metal workers, find that new job now. Carpenters, welders, the skilled trades, you're in demand. Bookkeepers, supply chain specialists, and administrative professionals, start a new career today. Our process is easy. Go to expressmohawkvalley.com to complete our online application and apply now. Our recruiters will call you to set up a meeting. You can also call our office at 315-790-5723. Express Employment Professionals. We make it our business to put you to work.
It's the biggest savings of the year for your pool and spa chemicals. It's Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas annual chemical sale. We make it easy. Go to tuckerbackyard.com or stop by our new location and save 15%. Yes, the new location is open at 8086 Seneca Turnpike. Our new and much larger facility gives us the ability to serve you better. Come visit us now till the end of April during our annual chemical sale with 15% off all chemicals in stock. Or shop us online at tuckerbackyard.com. Considering a new pool, we got you covered. From above ground to in-ground and fiberglass pools. Come see our pools and spas on full display at our new location, 8086 Seneca Turnpike, Clinton, 1 mile west of the Big Apple Plaza. Online at tuckerbackyard.com. Keep listening for our grand opening celebration coming soon. It's the biggest savings of the year. Tucker Backyard Pools and Spas annual chemical sale. Go to tuckerbackyard.com or stop by our new location and save 15%. The new location is open at 8086 Seneca Turnpike. We bring the fun to your backyard.
This is an important message for anyone who's on Medicaid and needs home care. Did you know that a family member, close friend, or even a neighbor can get paid to be your caregiver in the comfort of your own home? That's right. If you're on Medicaid, your child, grandchild, friend, or someone else you know and trust can be paid per hour to be your caregiver through a Medicaid-funded program. Just call 800-480-1730, and Horizon Home Care Services will help you hire the loved one you choose to be your caregiver. Horizon is based right here in upstate New York. As your neighbor, nobody cares more than Horizon about getting your caregiver paid the best rates on time. If you're on Medicaid, this service is absolutely free for you. Just call 800-480-1730 right now. Get the home care you need from a loved one or known friend, and they can get paid to help you at home. Just call 800-480-1730. This service is absolutely free to you, and your relative or friend gets paid to be a caregiver. Just call 800-480-1730. 800-480-1730. 800-480-1730.
Well, if you're looking to sell your home in 2023, River Hills Properties is the fastest way to do it, and it's the fastest growing real estate company here in Central New York. Bill and Robin Monjo all about the extra services that their agency provides. Things that happen around the rest of the country, but not here. It's a big deal knowing that your stress level is reduced. And that's because of all of the things that they do for you if you're selling your home. They'll guide you from start to finish, from the very time you say you're ready to sell your home till the very, very end. River Hills is there. Your listing agent will be there every time the house is shown, which is great. They make sure the lights are on, everything is set up properly, you're putting your best foot forward. It speeds up the process. If a prospective buyer has a question, they are there on the scene to answer that question and relieve the stress. In Barneville, offices in Little Falls and Utica. Online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com, serving all of upstate New York. Call 315-896-1009. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
I got to say, I loved Commander Card as they celebrate their Knights Templar 200th anniversary coming up tomorrow. He was really good.
He was very good. I was telling you guys.
Can we reveal the note that?
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yes, he said, "Be sure to mess with me a little. I can take it." Now,
Okay.
now, full warning. we were
There's
warned to stand down a little. In his terms, to stand down a little bit. There was just make sure it's not over the top for him. And then
what he's saying is before Commander Card came in, I looked at you and said, "Be nice."
Well, look, it's your show. I don't want to big time
and
you over here.
And you were really good. And then I saw you going at him a little bit, and I'm like, all right, well, he's. But I didn't realize there was a letter.
I was passed a note that said, "Be sure to mess with me."
Yeah.
What I didn't say is, and I told you guys off air, as soon as he opened that case, I could smell that cloth underwear. It smelled like the back of my closet, and I didn't know if it was just worn or if it hadn't been worn since the 1800s.
When you look at some of those, the old, well, he talks about the conspiracy stuff. There's some wild stuff online you can find.
Yeah.
Especially on YouTube.
Oh, I'm sure.
With the Masons. But yeah, pretty cool. And they'll be celebrating this weekend.
I got some comments here on
right.
the downtown complete streets,
So
or some call it incomplete streets.
Kevin Dombrowski is a comedian in for Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend, and Davey is on the line. But when he's done, I'll give away some tickets. Complete streets happening all over America. I think the place where and believe me, people are arguing about it in New York City, in Manhattan. What used to be Broadway,
got it.
is now there's people sitting out. They're having sandwiches. There's a tree in the way. There's no parking anymore because of all of the shanty restaurants that have been set up. This complete street thing is really going around the country and certainly around New York State, where they're reducing lanes. They want walking traffic. They want bike traffic.
Yeah.
And it is controversial here. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, I mean, on Broadway, there was already too many. All of that stuff was there before the complete streets anyway.
Right.
You know, people in the streets eating, taking their time.
That's
There
a
was-
good
it
point.
was-
People laying in the streets.
Right, yeah. It was people living there. It was a
Yeah.
mess. It was a mess anyway. What I love about this morning so far is I left Gotham at New York City at 10. I got in after a speeding ticket at 2 a.m.
Oh.
Wow.
And then since I've been here, it just feels like there's just a series of national disasters. And then the guards from the 1800s came in. So I really have no idea what happens here on a normal day. But I am so overwhelmed by what's happening in this town.
If your attention deficit, we just overloaded your entire system. Yeah, just another typical day.
All right, Lance and Lee says, my take on Wednesday's council meeting, this is regarding the conversation we had with Sam. My take on Wednesday's council meeting, the people that sit in the middle of the meeting cringe whenever Samantha and Celeste speak. Genesee Street will cost both Celeste and Katie this upcoming election. Now, it's interesting because Lance had recently said that he was kind of on the Celeste bandwagon, right?
All of a sudden, he's not now. I don't know what's going on.
Or that could just be his objective feeling about how others feel. And then he also said, from my experience, traffic studies can be worded any way the company chooses. Problem is most engineers do it from a book, not from the actual proposed work site. This comes from John in Clark Mills. I drove south on Genesee Street from North Utica this week. Forgot about the lane change and realized When I left, I was about to go head-on with a car waiting to make a left going north on Genesee Street to Lafayette. 0 lines were visible. It's a joke.
This is the thing.
It's an accident waiting to happen. How did that cost $80,000?
This is the thing that kills me. When we do things up here, it's almost always like we saw it happen in a bigger city, and now we're doing it here, but we never go all the way. So what we did is there are already lines on the streets. Well, we'll grind them off. Well, we halfway grinded them off. So now there are lines that used to be there and lines that they put over top of them, which have now faded. So all you have is a series of lines that are faded all over Genesee Street. You do not know where to go.
I can't wait until you guys get like a subway system, but instead of a car, you just have to walk the whole way.
It's a walking tunnel.
Yes.
It's just
An
no
underground walking tunnel.
no benches or rails. Just
There'll be none of that. No, you just make your way through. What else? I thought we could talk a little bit about the Rome Sentinel. Davey, you brought that in here?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So
he's taking full credit for that.
So this is the issue with the Utica School District. You've gone through it, so you can quote the quotes.
Yes.
And of course, we released audio. Thank you, Davey. We released audio this week and I got to say, the Sentinel is all over this story, which we broke. Expletive her and expletive her family. That's the quote that came out from the superintendent of schools. Now, he was talking about a former employee who he references in this recording that, isn't that the woman whose daughter was murdered, which is horrific. We had her on a couple of days ago, but the Sentinel has gone further and reached out to her and has interviewed her as well. This goes a little even more in depth with her, right?
Yes. This is Kim Devins talking about her time with the Utica City School District. And again, this is via the Daily Sentinel. I never had any actual interaction with him myself, referring to Bruce Karam, so I'm surprised that he even remembered me. But I think what he says is disgusting, and it shows his true character. The board was right. He shouldn't be there. There are some more quotes from her in this article. Throughout the... Oh, that's the wrong one there. Here we go. I had a college degree. This is about how she was transferred from one position to another. She talked about this a bit on the air with us. I had a college degree, and I knew what I was doing in business. I was naive, and I didn't know I was not supposed to be asking questions. She described it as a toxic environment. I feel like when you've been through what I've been through, things like this don't really bother you anymore. The audio bothered my younger daughter, Olivia, more than it bothered me. And then
she was thankful that the audio aired because she said it exposed what things were like over there.
I was not a troublemaker. I wasn't even there long enough. All I said was the truth. So, this has been an ongoing issue. We were supposed to talk to Bruce Karam and his attorney yesterday. Unfortunately, as we said, they kind of
he backed down. Fatchapani backed down from it. I expected him to do that.
Yeah.
You know what is interesting is he said in the story yesterday, was it yesterday in the Sentinel? And also with his story in the OD, which they didn't look at anybody else's opinion. They just ran it as it was described by the attorney, which is good journalism. He said that we received the audio before he ever received it.
Yeah, and I said I took issue with that.
We received the audio before Bruce Karam ever received the audio to know what was on the tape. But when you look into the report, and I had to go back and double-check this, when you look into the report, it talks about how Bruce Karam actually heard the audio, has heard the audio.
Not from us.
Not from us.
Because that was kind of the claim, that the first time they heard about this was when you played it on Tuesday morning.
I understand Fatchapani's job is to represent his client and do the best he possibly can. But that's false. That's not true. Saying that that we heard it before they heard it. That's not true. And I'm not going to call that a lie. I'm just telling you that ain't true.
No.
Is that a lie?
It sounds like it.
It does a little bit.
Wow,
This is what everybody does up here. We'll come in, we'll say something. You didn't tell the truth, so you say you lied. Nope, I didn't say that.
Well, that's fair. I didn't actually get a speeding ticket. I got a disobeying a sign.
There you go.
Well, that's actually a good thing, I believe. That's the problem. If you were driving on the thruway in the wee hours of the morning, you're a sitting duck. That's the problem. Any other time of the day, speeding duck. Any other time of the day, you can fly.
Yeah, apparently. I'm going to do it tomorrow between noon and 2. Or when's the blackout? Whenever the blackout is, that's when I'm going to be speeding through the 87.
Yes, you'll be fine for a small stretch of the freeway to the east here. You'll be just fine.
Does that apply to the cop cars? Do their lights just go out if they're in that town during that time?
I have a feeling they'll be even have more power. I could be wrong.
Oh, more power. That was a good one, Bill.
More power. Boom. Anyway, on this story, I wanted to just say on the Sentinel, I give them all the credit in the world for actually digging in deeper on a story that it tells you that journalism is alive and that investigative reporting does exist and that newspaper, television, radio can actually really dig into a story to hold people in check, our government in check, and our local officials in check. And I think it is vitally important. And with the OD gone, basically, everybody else has to step up. And they're doing it. And I give them a great deal of credit for that.
And you're not going to relent on this. I mean, you've kind of just closed the book on the OD there.
Well, if I could, maybe I'd know more if I'd be able to if I could log into the OD. If they didn't keep calling me and like selling me a subscription. And then, or my favorite is, they'll sell you a subscription. And then all of a sudden, a year later, the rate goes up. And I had no clue this was going to happen. But then you're paying $400 for the year for something you might have paid $80 for. I just, and then you try to resolve it, and you can never I can't log into the OD. I can't. And whenever they run a picture of me, it's an ugly picture. Why would you do that? You couldn't find a better picture of me?
I don't know why they do that. It's not like you say anything about that.
That's the thing. I'm really good with them normally.
This sounds like a relative on Facebook.
It does.
It sounds
Yeah.
like, why would you post that under the chin picture of me?
That's right. You know to shoot down, and that wouldn't have happened. I got a break. We'll come back 8:22. Still to come, I mentioned he's an actor, Austin Basis, and he's plays a character in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which just so happens to be about a comedian, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a second. 8:23 now, WIBX.
On behalf of IBEW Local 43 Union Electricians and the Utica Contractors, we are pleased to partner with Alfred State University in providing our members with an opportunity to enhance their education at this great university.
Alfred State is proud to strengthen our long history of working with unions to create non-traditional pathways for career advances in the skilled trades.
Central New York's future is bright, and the IBEW Local 43 and NECA will continue to help light, power, and grow Central New York.
Spring has sprung. It's the Strong Spas Factory Store Spring Sale all month long. Sangertown Square. Blowout prices on floor models. And factory recertified spas. Clearing out the floor to make room for more. Immediate delivery. It's a spring super sale at Strong Spas. Visit the largest spa showroom in the country. Huge savings. Price to move. See for yourself. Find them in Sangertown Square and ask about their financing options for credit qualified buyers. Get in your spa at Strong Spas. Hurry, these spas won't last.
For the past 25 years, the Good News Center has been committed to building relationships. Better relationships for marriage, better family relationships, and a better relationship with God while promoting self-change. Hi, this is Judy Hauk, Executive Director at the Good News Center. Our programs are designed to support you at your most challenging times. Whether it is marriage difficulties, addiction issues, suffering the loss of a loved one, or caring for someone close, we can offer you support. Or strengthen your faith journey by attending one of our spiritual renewal programs, such as a Bible study or Theology Uncorked. Our support programs are available in person or via Zoom. They are mentored by peers, cost nothing, and are confidential. For more information about all of our programs, visit us at thegoodnewscenter.org or call us at 315-735-6210. The Good News Center, building relationships for over 25 years.
From Lincoln Center Theater that brought you The King and I and South Pacific comes a sumptuous new revival of the most perfect musical of all time, My Fair Lady. The New York Times calls it thrilling, glorious, and better than it ever was. Don't miss the smashing, jubilant Lincoln Center Theater production of My Fair Lady.
Broadway Utica presents My Fair Lady, May 1st and 2nd at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, visit BroadwayUtica.org or call 315-724-4000.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is an important message for anyone who's on Medicaid and needs home care. Did you know that a family member, close friend, or even a neighbor can get paid to be your caregiver in the comfort of your own home? That's right. If you're on Medicaid, your child, grandchild, friend, or someone else you know and trust can be paid per hour to be your caregiver through a Medicaid-funded program. Just call 800-480-1730, and Horizon Home Care Services will help you hire the loved one you choose to be your caregiver. Horizon is based right here in upstate New York. As your neighbor, nobody cares more than Horizon about getting your caregiver paid the best rates on time. If you're on Medicaid, this service is absolutely free for you. Just call 800-480-1730 right now. Get the home care you need from a loved one or known friend, and they can get paid to help you at home. Just call 800-480-1730. This service is absolutely free to you, and your relative or friend gets paid to be a caregiver. Just call 800-480-1730. 800-480-1730. 800-480-1730.
Honey, why are you peeking out the window and spying on the neighbors?
I can't stop watching what they're doing to their house. Look at that. They added a sunroom and put in a pool. Do you think they won the lottery?
No, not the lottery. Julie and Jeff got a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank. They're using the equity from their home to renovate.
Really?
Yes, Adirondack Bank has home equity rates as low as 3.99% annual percentage rate. You can access the equity in your home to fund almost anything.
Huh. Maybe we should call Adirondack Bank. What about a new kitchen? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the roof. Oh, and even take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about. And, of course, I need a new car.
Slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank.
Stop into your local Adirondack Bank for more information on home equity loan rates as low as 3.99% APR. Or call 877-404-2265 for credit costs and terms. Apply today at AdirondackBank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
So if you have severe back, neck, or shoulder pain, there is help. And we're talking about firsthand experience with Dr. Hyder and the Omni Surgical Center in Utica, located at the Business Park. And, of course, you'll see it there off Commercial Drive over by the Home Depot area. So yesterday I was going to be a part, and Davey, you were there last night, for the wheelchair basketball. Awesome event, right?
Sure was.
They had a lot of players from the men's and women's teams from Syracuse, right?
Yeah, Kadir Copeland, Benny Williams, the Asia Fair from the women's, and 2 players from the SU National Championship soccer team.
And Jim Rondinelli was the honorary coach. How did he do?
I'm not making fun of Jim because he's considered one of my best friends.
Yeah.
But isn't the head coach supposed to sit at the beginning of the bench?
Yeah.
Jim sat at the end of the bench giving instructions. And I told him, I said, come on, coach, you're supposed to be up at the
get in the limelight here a little
beginning of
bit.
the bench. But he did a phenomenal job.
So I didn't make it last night. I was supposed to be there, but my dad had another procedure. And it just so happens at Omni Surgery Center with Dr. Hyder. So he was and my mom were at our house last night right after the procedure. So just to give you an idea, the pain that he has been in has just been debilitating. And we had to bring him in to the surgery center, and they did an incredible job. And he received a treatment, and this would be very non-invasive. These were injections, and I swear to you, when he walked out, the pain was gone.
And he walked out.
No, he did not. To be fair,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But he's back to walking and getting back to that, and he'll be better today and better the next day. But it's that excruciating pain that is gone.
Yeah.
So, but the key is, how do you sleep when you have such excruciating pain? You can't sleep.
Right.
So then it affects your diet. It affects your energy level. It affects your strength. All of a sudden, you're just, it's terrible.
Your mood, your
and
attitude.
your mood. Oh, trust me. Oh, boy. Anyway, I just want to thank the people at the Omni Surgery Center, everybody over there, and Dr. Hyder, who is brilliant. There are people that come from all over the country and Canada to this facility, whether it's a surgical injection or an injection or a less invasive surgical treatment from Dr. Hyder. It's Omni Surgical, and it's where modern technology meets cutting-edge surgery, and it truly is nothing short of a miracle. Phone number is 315-765-8448. The website says it all, killpain.com, if you need the pain to go away. Just imagine living with pain. There are people out there dealing with it, living with pain all the time. Excruciating pain. Killpain.com. You don't have to live that way. Call 315-765-8448.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
It's funny you said the mood. You said the mood. Yeah, because when you're in pain, you're a little you're scrappy, a little scrappy. We're going to talk a little bit about Mrs. Maisel, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and in studio is comedian Kevin Dombrowski. What do you think of this show? There are a few shows out there beyond Seinfeld that are kind of surrounding stand-up comics.
Yeah, I've pitched my own called The Average Mr. Dombrowski.
Okay. Not so marvelous.
Sure, the not so marvelous.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I think it just says that it's interesting. You know, it's an interesting job. I know that. You know right away as a comic whether you want to tell that person what your job is. You know what I mean? It's either, I'm a comic and you break eye contact and you're like, the guy's like, really? It's one of those things?
Yes.
Or you go, I'm unemployed and don't worry about it because you know the amount of questions that are going to come up after that. I actually, true story, my wife and I, we just bought a house like I had said earlier. One of my neighbors, she said, I told my son that you were a comedian. And then he said, is he famous? And she said, if he was famous, do you think he would have bought that house?
Well, that says it all, doesn't it?
That's yeah, and that's what we need shows about. It's just trying to assimilate into a neighborhood when you've lived in New York.
And this is not, neither one of these shows are like that because she's, and I don't know that, so Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, initially people thought, well, this is about Joan Rivers, because Lenny Bruce, there's a character, Lenny Bruce is there, and there are other comedians that were something during the day. And then, but she's very wealthy. She broke up with her husband, her parents, and her husband's parents. Everybody's wealthy. So they do very well in New York City. The average comic does not get to live that life.
It's the most unrealistic part of the show.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, truly, she doesn't drive a Kia in the show. She doesn't, she doesn't have to ask her husband for money. It's unrealistic.
Yeah. But it's a great show.
It is a very good show. I know I have a couple friends that wrote on the show, and I have a couple friends that were actually on the show. I think the comedy portions, stand-up is hard to get right on a show. It's like watching, like Rocky and then being an actual boxing fan.
Right,
You're like,
right.
It doesn't make that sound when you hit him in the face. It just hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like one of those things. Like I've never heard a fighter able to yell, "Yo, Adrian," after a fight. Everyone's like,
Right.
What's the date? And who's the president?
And his eyes are circling.
Right. Yeah. So it's I think it's a realistic look at stand-up. I've seen like a bunch of her her sets that she does during the show.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. I have a hard time watching episodic TV because I work at night. So when I come home, it's hard for me to watch an episode of Miss Maisel and then have a 2-year-old staring me in the face in the morning. So that's a difficult one.
And do you find that you don't like to watch comedy, not comedies, but more like
Specials?
I had comedy. I've done the comedy club world for a long time.
Yeah.
Way back into the 90s. So I never liked to watch Seinfeld because it always started out with stand-up, something I see 5 times a weekend.
I feel
So
you.
it wasn't something to watch for me. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I have trouble watching specials. I break them down too much. You're looking for what
Right.
the hook is. You're looking at it from like a technical aspect. It's I've never been in movie. Pace yourself. I've never been in movies, but I'm sure this is what actors say is when they go, movies are ruined for me because all I think
Yeah.
of is what we film.
Yeah.
So for me, I could watch any comic live. I love watching, especially if you're in the same
Live
show.
is so different.
It's so different.
COVID just killed us with comedy because
It's brutal
yeah.
post-COVID. It really is. But it's. I will say I think people are less offended than they were before COVID because they're so
Yeah.
happy to be out.
I think
it's
so,
It's
yeah.
a different temperature. Right
And what
now.
I mean by comedy, it killed comedy, is that people tried to do comedy at home in front of an iPhone camera, and it just didn't have the same effect.
Let me tell you something. My daughter was born during COVID, and there were Zoom shows. And as comic, we're trying to make a living.
Do anything
anyway.
you can, yeah.
There's nothing more sad than bombing in the future nursery of your daughter on camera, and then closing your laptop and being like, "I can't believe I have to raise a kid in this energy,
Yeah.
in this environment."
I know. Yeah. It was some. Yeah, we all tried to still tip. We were all sending out tips and doing the best we could.
I'm like your Easy Pass. I'm still waiting on those tips.
Yeah, sorry. Austin Basis is an actor. He's done several movies, and in this case, a series, which is extremely popular, in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And Austin is on the line with us right now, early out in the West Coast, so we appreciate him getting up. Austin Basis, good morning.
Good morning to you, or should I say good evening? It's like yesterday here.
Thanks for getting up.
So he got up last week, and we missed him, and I feel really bad about that. But I'm so glad you were a good sport and came back here. What's it like being on one of the most popular series streaming programs that's out there today?
Well, yeah, it's everything you'd imagine. I'm 20 plus years into my career, and I've done quite a bit, but this kind of takes the cake.
Yeah. So talk about your character on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
I play the role of Alvin. He's a new character in this 5th and final season. He's the head writer of the Gordon Ford Show, which is the show within a show. So it's a late-night comedy talk show set in 1960, 61, early 60s. And there's a group of, 5 male writers that Midge Maisel, who's the main, the titular character, as we say, she comes into the writer's room and, kind of throws a monkey wrench into the whole thing. And I think one of the things I learned, I kind of knew as an actor, it's harder to play comedy than drama. And I know probably even more so, it's harder to write comedy than write drama.
Preach.
Or at least good comedy, because it's either funny or it's not. And usually it's not.
So
speaking of, come to Fat Cats Comedy Club tonight and tomorrow.
Here's in studios Kevin Dombrowski. He's the comedian in this weekend at Fat Cats Comedy Club. Have you ever done comedy? Is that what you did? Did you ever do stand-up?
No, I never dared to do stand-up. That was too much cojones for me. But I did set him up for that plug, though. I do know a setup. I always usually played the straight man because of my acting chops. But I did do improv and sketch comedy. We did a kind of a weekly show, kind of like Saturday Night Live, where we do improv, sketch comedy. We'd have a musical guest, and then we'd also have a stand-up comedian guest. So
that's cool.
We did that once a week for like maybe I think 7 or 8 months one year, and I really loved stand-up and sketch and improv, and the challenge of the writing challenge of sketch, but the improv challenge of coming up with something that's funny in the moment was something that I think my acting training and my background in doing shtick as a Jewish kid growing up in Brooklyn, New York, prepared me for.
Do you guys get a little leeway on the show? Is there any like looseness to it, or is it straight to script?
It is word perfect, so there is little to no improv. It's not encouraged, but there are moments when they're looking to put a button on it, and it's either a physical comedy or the way you read a line to end the scene. But they write everything in there, so most scenes end with a button. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But that's one of the challenges, but also the perks of a show that is written so well. They just give you the jokes, and you have to just deliver them. You don't have to like come up with any, funny things in the moment. It's all on the page.
We're speaking with Austin Basis. He is an actor with the series The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and it's on. I don't know. My wife always sets it up, and we're in the middle of this new season. So this is the last season too, by the way, right? This is it. But you're on. So you're a writer on a late night show that could be Johnny Carson, The Tonight Show, that could be having someone like Joan Rivers on. There's a lot of talk about that this year. What are your thoughts and as you read through the scripts here?
Well, the show that is definitely based parallel, to the Johnny Carson rise, kind of as a late night host. Jack Parr is kind of like towards the end of his, kind of reign as a kind of a king of late night, to the point where our show, in the early episode becomes number one in the ratings. But there is, if people are watching, there's an episode this week that comes up that there is a steadfast rule on the show about, writers performing on the show, and it's not in Midge's favor. Let's just say that.
Okay. Oh, interesting. And then, you mentioned that everything is word for word. Great question, because I think it's very fitting here. Because when you watch this, Mrs. Maisel, if you haven't seen the show, even when she's doing her stand-up, you can tell you're following a script. And even when you guys are you're doing the writing and you're going back and forth and she comes in, it's clear shtick, and it's a 60s style. It has a 60s flavor, or at least I wasn't around back then, but the type of TV back then. Talk about that just a little bit. There's a real retro flavor to this program.
Yeah, I think there's a combination of the fast-paced banter and almost like, kind of a vaudevillian Catskills comedy banter back and forth. Like, a comedy team would come on stage and they have a conversation, but, a lot of times that conversation is rehearsed and practiced, whether it's who's on first, all that stuff. That predates us. But, I think the setting and the style is really, production design, wardrobe, the camera stuff, the way it looks. I mean, you walk onto set and you feel like you're stepping back in time.
Yeah.
So it was easy as an actor to buy into the fact that we're, 60 years in the past, and that, all we need to do is like deliver the lines as if we were actually saying it, those words. And again, the scripts are about 80 pages, and it always comes down to like 55, maybe 60 minutes. So you're talking about less than a minute a page, which is a fast-paced.
It's very fast.
Usually dramas, if you look at a script, whether it's a film or TV script, it's about a page per minute. So they're, usually run 45 to 55 pages. And then, sitcom is written differently. It's like double space. So, these are kind of like nerd inside things, but, it's about 45 pages for 22 minutes for like a standard sitcom. But since this is like a normal, like, single camera, we're talking about, like, it's written like a full film, and it's shot like a full film, produced. I mean, we shoot over 3 weeks. Most shows or TV shows that are like a half hour shoot 3 days. Most hour-long episodics shoot 7 to 10 days, and we're shooting 14 days because the production design and the ambitious shots that there's a couple shots in this past episode, this week's episode, that were 4 pages in one shot.
Oh, yeah.
Which just takes an ensemble, takes a lot of people working together, including the cast, but also the crew, to coordinate. Yeah.
The scene that I'm thinking of was the ex-husband and his girlfriend. They're going into the restaurant, and they're able to get in the back of the restaurant and get in. Am I remembering the scene correctly? All done in one shot, and the lines back and forth. It was a very cool scene, but everything moves so very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's purposeful because it's comedy. There's a musical. It's almost like musical comedy in a sense without the singing.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like you hear actors. Austin, when you go, I don't have what it takes to do stand-up, you lost me at reading.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You said an 80-page script. I was like, I couldn't. If I were to write down my set list, I would fall asleep midway through it. Like for me, you just like everything's committed to memory. I write everything. I don't really physically write anything. I know what my act is, and over time, you just keep adding and adding and adding.
Two very, very different art forms.
Yeah, definitely.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, one's an art form, and then one's me.
All right, and then Austin Basis is in Mrs. Maisel, and you'll see him as the character Alvin. It's Alvin, right? Is one of the writers on the late night Tonight Show, if you will. And then, but you were also, before we let you go, you were also you had a long run in Beauty and the Beast on TV, right?
Yeah, I did. That was CW sci-fi, TV show. But yeah, like it's a lot different doing a drama with beasts and special effects and fight choreography than it is doing the fast-paced comedy and the suits. We all wear gray suits. It's like 5 guys in gray suits.
Yeah.
And then it's which gray suit am I wearing this week? And how high am I pulling it up?
Yeah.
They were like, I was, the standard in that time period is belly button.
Yeah.
You have to pull your pants up to your belly button. And I was like, you sure it's not, not my, my chest? I'm like, I feel like Bud Abbott.
Yeah. The pants are pulled up high. There is no doubt about it. Those pants are up high. So.
Yeah.
Well, listen, really cool to talk to you, Austin Basis. We appreciate it. And this is, I can't believe it's the final season of the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. But we'll be checking it out as it progresses. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much, and good luck with your set this week at
Fat Cats Comedy Club.
Thanks, brother.
There you go.
Cool. Thank you, Austin, and thanks for getting up twice for us. We appreciate it. And apologize.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool, Austin Basis. Again, cool show, but that you can tell it's all script and they're moving fast.
Oh yeah,
this show.
It's like a pinball.
Yeah,
you know what
really
I mean.
is.
You watch it go back and forth, and you're like, how do you even have time to breathe when you do that?
I know. Yeah, it's incredible. You can check it out on I don't know what streaming service is it on?
I think it's on Netflix. Look at the
Netflix.
three of us. Look at the three of us. You go, what's it on? I go, I don't have a TV, and then you went to your computer to find out where it is.
It might be. It's not Netflix. It might be Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
There it is.
Where the baseball game was the other night, Davey. Couldn't find the Yankee game, but where was it? Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have an Amazon Prime subscription.
So. The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program, which keeps us alive. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And, hey, it's going to be in the 80s today. Let's not forget, 2 days ago, it was 40.
And
it was snowing. And here we are, 82 degrees.
What happens in this town? There's There's complete streets. There's blackouts. There's meetings at 2 p.m.
Drastic changes in temperature.
Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
It's just mass hysteria. That's where we are.
But don't change anything. Everybody's going to freak out if you talk anything about change. Seriously.
Over 14 flavors of lattes, which are delicious. Coffee, espresso, iced coffee. Manaski's favorite is Seattle's best. The coffee is just plain black coffee. The drive-thru, lightning fast. Chuck Siddell and everybody at Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford.
Power Sports of Utica is holding its grand opening event on the 28th and 29th of April. We have over 350 vehicles in stock and incoming for you to see. Come celebrate with us at the store over great food, drink, and entertainment. We can't wait to see you there. It's our Power Sports of Utica grand opening, April 28th and 29th, with over 150 new and used Harley-Davidsons in our pool. 0% down, 3.99 APR on select Harleys. Grand opening discounts on boots, helmets, shirts, and apparel.
The internet can be an all-you-can-eat buffet for identity thieves.
So full.
Too many maiden names.
And social security numbers.
Where'd you find those?
By the password bar. Can't miss them.
LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss by monitoring your credit and bank statements. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year with promo code NEWS. Go to LifeLock.com.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates, it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Spring has sprung. It's the Strong Spas Factory Store Spring Sale all month long. Sangertown Square. Blowout prices on floor models and factory recertified spas. Clearing out the floor to make room for more. Immediate delivery. It's a spring super sale at Strong Spas. Visit the largest spa showroom in the country. Huge savings. Price to move. See for yourself. Find them in Sangertown Square and ask about their financing options for credit qualified buyers. Get in your spa at Strong Spas. Hurry, these spas won't last.
Refresh and renew your home this spring with Little Falls Lumber. They're fully stocked with secondary grade metal in all colors and 12-foot lengths. An affordable option for fixing utility sheds, roofs, or garages. Looking for lumber and tired of the warped pieces from the big box stores? Then go to Little Falls Lumber where they stock only premium grade lumber. Stop in to one of their 3 convenient locations: Little Falls, Syracuse, and Schenectady. Little Falls Lumber, helping you refresh and renew this spring. Call 315-823-2470 or visit littlefallslumber.com.
If you're looking for a new family doctor, a new primary physician, the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. And the Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. So there may be opportunities for you to lower and lessen the amount of medicine that you take. That's a big deal this day and age because, you know, you take one pill and then you have some side effects, and they give you, what, another pill to take care of the side effects, which creates even new side effects. By the time you're done, it is an endless loop. The osteopathic approach can change everything. And I'm going through that right now when it comes to sleep issues, dealing with the Falcon Clinic. I am currently a patient there. You can meet with Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Shemileski, or any of the physicians there, even counselors on staff, under one roof at the Falcon Clinic. Looking at possibly medical marijuana might be a great option for pain without the addictive side effects of opioids. Call today, 315-507-4751. If you're looking for a new family doctor, a new primary physician, Dr. Shemileski, Dr. Zielinski, and others at the Falcon Clinic, 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic is located in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Davey, I said earlier, where is he? I said earlier we'd give away a pair of, maybe instead of a pair, why don't you give away a few tables for this weekend? Tables for whatever they need. It could be 4, could be 6, whatever they need, seriously. First couple callers right now. Are you ready?
Sure.
315-736-0186. I have room in the 7:30 show tonight and in the 7 o'clock show tomorrow night for you to take advantage of. 315-736-0186. Check it out with Davey right now, and he will take care of you. Also going on tonight is the Whiteout. Expect tailgating tonight outside the Adirondack Bank Center.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that maybe you could do a little pregame tailgating over at the Comets in the parking lot there, and then go to the council meeting, show up, and tell them how you really feel
about Complete Streets.
I went to the thing yesterday at Babes. Jeff was talking.
You were there.
about.
You were there. Yeah, cool.
They had quite a crowd.
Little pep rally type thing they did. All right.
Audi was there. The Comets were there.
Very cool. You were there for Audi.
Yes.
Yeah, what exactly is a whiteout?
He was there for the Comets, the ladies. A whiteout is they want everybody to wear white.
Oh.
Yeah. For the hockey, AHL hockey. So we are the AAA, the top farm team in the Jersey Devils.
Got it.
Farm in the NHL club, which by the way got beaten pretty hard and handily by the Rangers again last night. So this would benefit if the Devils got out of the NHL playoffs. This would definitely benefit the Comets.
I think it would, right? Because you don't have guys getting called up and things like that. So,
and they let a few trickle back down to the AHL program.
Sure. I thought a whiteout was when you black out during the day.
That could be. There are a few whiteouts out there. Depends on which one you're talking about. Anyway, is there anything else going on this weekend other than just really nice weather?
Can I mention before I forget this is not this weekend. This is right now the WIBX Win Cash code. You can win some cash through our website. Just enter it. It's just a 3-digit code. Your code for the 8 a.m. hour is, 844. 844. Enter the code on our website for your chance to win cash. And before we go, I'll give you the 9 a.m. hour code as well.
And as we mentioned, Kevin Dombrowski is going to be at Fat Cats this weekend. Davey's giving away some tickets as we speak. Along the line of comedy, Tracy Morgan. There's a story out about Tracy Morgan. Have you ever seen him in
a
car accident?
Sorry. Tracy Morgan is
trucks, yes.
Tracy Morgan as a comedian is filthy.
Yes.
He's a pretty dirty act, yeah.
Yeah.
I brought people to see that show, and they were uncomfortable with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I never was. But
if you were to talk to him, you'd be uncomfortable with it, too.
I'll bet.
I saw him one time. I was hosting a show at the Stand Comedy Club in New York, and Tracy dropped in, and I was like, what do you want me to say? He goes, you know me, love Tracy Morgan. And I was like, okay, cool. And then he was watching this comic go up, and he was like, he thinks he's like Richard Pryor. And then he looks at me, he goes, who you guys got, like Dane Cook? and then I walked outside after his set, and he's in the nicest, like, Lamborghini or Ferrari you've ever seen, right? He's in the driver's seat, and his security guard's in the passenger seat. I walked to the store on the right. I came back. He's in the passenger seat, and there's a woman in the driver's seat. I walk back the other way, and then I come back to the club. He's now in the driver's seat with his shirt off, sweating profusely, and then no one in the passenger seat. And it was a matter of 2 minutes.
Wow.
That all of this happened. You're like, what happens to you?
Oh, you hear he taught. There's nothing he doesn't talk about.
Oh, sure.
Oof. Yeah. Anyway,
I'll if you come to Fat Cats, not only will I do my own set, I'll also do Tracy Morgan's set. I'm not above that.
All right, I love that. Tracy Morgan gave a speech before Martin Lawrence got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame yesterday, talking about the first time he got to see Martin at a Def Jam show. He went on to say Martin called him a year later and gave him a job that changed his life forever. Here's the audio.
Out of all the comedians that performed that night, the only one I remember was Martin. His funny was effortless. He made me want to do and succeed in comedy. He made me believe I could do it. 4 months later, I performed on Def Jam. I thought that would be the last time meeting him, because out of nervousness, I smacked him on the ass when he introduced me and passed me the mic. I thought it was a good pass.
Okay. Anyway,
that's hilarious. I also do that, by the way. If you introduce me on stage tonight,
beautiful.
Speaking of scripted, it sounded like he was reading from a piece of paper there.
No, I know.
I went up on stage and I. No.
That was actually a scene from Miss Maisel.
Yeah. Okay. Check him out, Kevin Dombrowski, this weekend at Fat Cats Comedy Club in Washington Mills, inside a pizzeria. There's a club, and it's cool. The food is really good.
But they have the power on there. Trust me.
Sure. All right. Well, let's hope.
Enjoy. Listen, if you're thinking about flooring this weekend, In Sarah's Flooring Outlet has the leading the largest supply of flooring, the largest inventory you'll find anywhere in central New York. And you know, when it comes to Pergo Extreme, it's the 60-mile radius guarantee. The best price on Pergo Extreme. Take advantage of 6 months interest-free financing in Sarah's Flooring Outlet, Route 49 Plaza, River Road, Marcy. Online in sarahsflooringoutlet.com. WIBX Utica Rome. Enjoy your weekend. It's 9 o'clock.
Your 9 a.m. code is 226, by the way.
226 is your 9 a.m. code for cash. 226.
Police in Gaston County, North Carolina, outside Charlotte, have been looking for 24-year-old Robert Louis Singletary since Tuesday, when they say he shot 2 adults and a 6-year-old girl after yelling at playing kids when their ball rolled into his yard. But Singletary has now turned himself into deputies in Tampa, Florida, who will return him to North Carolina.
Fox's Evan Brown. Charges are dropped against the actor Alec Baldwin over the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
The 65-year-old actor had been charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter after Hutchins was shot on the set of Baldwin's film Rust in New Mexico, October of 21. Baldwin's attorneys issuing a statement which reads, "We are pleased with the decision to dismiss the case against Alec Baldwin, and we encourage a proper investigation into the facts and circumstances of this tragic accident." The charges are being dismissed without prejudice, which means the case could be